Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in this particular video you are going to learn each and everything that you need to know about authentication and authorization in Node.js ecosystem. Now this is advanced tutorial, so in this one we are not going to only learn JWT, but I am also going to explain refresh tokens, email verification process, password reset, Google login, two-factor authentication and real VPS deployment with custom domain. So let's see what are the things that we are going to cover. So first we will start with project setup, env and database. So here you are going to learn. Now definitely we are going to use TypeScript for this, and for DB we are going to use MongoDB. So the first phase will be only project setup, env and the database connection. Then we'll move to the second phase, which will be core authentication, and here we are going to understand the concept of JWT and refresh tokens. Once we'll cover these, then we'll move to very important concept, the concept of middleware and how we are going to manage roles, and what is the concept of authorization in a Node.js ecosystem. Once we'll do that, we'll move to the phase 4, where we are going to understand the complete process of email verification. And for email verification we are going to use mail trap. Once we'll complete these, we'll move to phase 5, where we are going to understand the how we are going to do forget password and the reset password method. And then one of the very important phase, and that is Google login or auth login. After that, we are also going to cover the very important concept and very interesting two-factor authentication using Google Authenticator, and for library we are going to use OTP leave. Once we'll do that, we are also going to discuss the concept of admin APIs and also how we are going to protect the admin APIs and versus the normal user APIs. Once we'll cover all of these, then we'll complete our video with a VPS deployment. So for this one we are going to use Hostinger, and also I'm going to show you that how you're going to get a free custom domain using duck DNS. Before we'll go further, so let me quickly show you that some couple of things. So first of all, that in this particular project I decided to use Hostinger. So what you can do, right, if you're interested, I've added a link in the description, so just go to that link. So this will be the link that will be provided. So if you go or click on the link that I've given in the description, right, so you are going to get almost more than 70% discount, and you can see that they also have, I think, Cyber Week sale that is currently going on. So what you need to do, right, first you can click on this claim deal, right. Once we'll do that, now again I will suggest here that you can go for KVM2 because this is most popular, and this will be actually suitable in case you are working on your own SaaS, or actually you want to use this one basically for your personal business. So here you can just click on the choose plan, and once you'll do that, I actually added two coupon code. One is for one that will be valid till 31st December, and there you are going to get almost 20% discount for all products for 24 months and 48 months. And then there will be one more discount code that will be added, that is SM10, which will be valid throughout the till year 2027, and there you are going to get at least 10% discount. So if you just copy this here, and then you can just click on the have a coupon code and just click on apply, and you'll see that we'll be getting an additional 20% discount on top of it. So again, just click on the link, explore not only VPS, but they actually offers a lot of other services. For example, let's say if you are interested in hosting or email marketing, a lot of other things. So this is one very important point I just wanted to mention. So with these all the things that we are going to cover. Now again, I already mentioned, and I want to mention this point once again, and that is that we are not going to only use VPS deployment, but I'm also going to show you that how you are going to use the concept of Nginx, and you can get a custom domain, and then we are going to deploy this one. Okay. Also regarding the source code I'll be adding in the description. That is completely free. You can just go to my website and you can download. I will also be adding all the VPS deployment steps in that source code only, so you can just follow through. Alright, so with this, now let's get started, and good luck. Alright, so now let's get started. Now, as I already mentioned in the intro part, right, that this video is going to make you absolutely expert in authentication and authorization in both the parts if you are working with Node.js. So first what you're going to do, right, definitely we are going to use TypeScript, and you can see that first we'll start with setting up all the files and folder. Now remember, this is not a beginner tutorial, right? I already have 5 parts of Node.js in my YouTube channel. Part 1 for beginners, part 2, part 3, part 4 and part 5. Now you can consider these as one of the part, but in this one what you're going to do, right, we'll be covering multiple areas of authentication, right? So I'm not going to explain each and every line, so I just wanted to make it very clear. So what I'll suggest, right, if you're doing Node.js for the first time, then this video is going to be very little advanced level, or it will be very complicated for you. So I'll suggest that you can first watch some of the beginner Node.js videos, right? You can watch my Node.js video only part 1, and also you need to have good understanding of some basic TypeScript, and also you need to know the JavaScript ES6 concept. So these all will be the prerequisite. So first what we'll do, right, we'll start with creating our package.json. Now I already created all the scripts and everything. So first let's do one thing. So I'll do npm init and I'll do -y. Okay, so this is going to create a package.json. So once this is completed, I'm going to do clear. Alright, so now let's go here, and you can see first I'm going to explain that what are the things that we are going to install, and also I'm just going to install Express version 4. And first we need Mongoose, definitely we need .env, Zod for validation, bcrypt.js, cookie person, and JSON web token, and these all we are going to install as a dev dependency, right? So I'm just going to copy all of these. You'll be getting the code, source code for free, so you can also download. I'm going to enter, and let's install all of these. And also we need all the types because we'll be using TypeScript, so I'm going to just install all of these. So copy all of this. We need TypeScript, TS node dev, nodes, node types, express types, right? We need the types for bcrypt.js, cookie person, and JSON web token, and also we need to do this one as @version 4. So now I'm just going to copy all of these, and let's clear, and let's install. Alright, so in the meantime we also need to create a ts config, right? So I'm just going to create a ts config.json. Alright, so now here I already have created the ts config, so I'm just going to copy all of this, and we are going to just paste it here. Save this, and also we need some scripts. So we have the dev script, build script, and start script. But before that we need to, because we'll be using the source directory, so I'm going to create a source folder, and inside this I'm going to create server.ts because this will be our entry file. Okay, so now I'm just going to copy these three from here, and we'll go to package.json, and then I'm just going to paste it. So we are going to source/server.ts. So now let's save this. So now these will be absolute basic starting point that you need. Now next thing what you're going to do, right, I will be going to MongoDB. Now in my previous Node.js videos I've already showed multiple times how you are going to create MongoDB project. I thought I'm just going to create it beforehand, but let's quickly create. So I'm just going to give this one as Node.js Auth advanced, something like that, and then let's create this. So I'm just going to do next, and you're going to do create project. Then we are going to create the cluster and do the deployment, and then we'll be getting our, so first we are going to create the cluster. So let's create. Now remember to select the free option, right? So because sometimes it will be by default always selected as paid. So now let's wait. So you can see this is selected, so I'm going to select free, and then I'm going to do create deployment. So this is going to take some time. In the meantime what you can do, right, for the development purpose I will go to the project identity and the access, no, not this one, sorry. Also in the meantime let me just quickly create the username and password. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here, and then I'm going to do Sangam1996, or let's do 2025. I'll do create database user, and for now later we are going to choose this. So first let's go to database and the network access. So I'm going to click here, and let's go to IP access list, and for now I'm just going to do add IP address, and I'll do allow access from anywhere, and I'm going to do confirm. Now again this is for the development purpose I'm doing. Now let's go to the cluster, go to the cluster. So in the meantime this is going to take some time. In the meantime what I can do, right, we'll go here, and then I'm going to create two more files which is very important. First one will be our env, and second one will be our git ignore. Okay, so in the git ignore I'll be having node modules, and also I'm going to having the env file, and in the env file I already have created the dummy env file here. Okay, so now let me just quickly give you some of the overview, very overview. Anyways we are going to discuss later. So first we have the node environment. This is development port. I'm going to use 5000. This will be our MongoDB URL. This will be our JWT access secret and the refresh secret. Now these, I think if you have already worked with Node.js, you already know these actually you need for authentication. If you didn't work or you're doing for the first time, still I'm going to explain each and everything line by line. These we need for our email verification purposes, all these SMTP host, port, user, password. And then we need the Google client authentication. Now because we are also going to implement the Google Auth, so this is the reason we need Google client ID, Google client secret, and Google redirect URI. Now these we are going to do later. For now what I'll do, right, simply I'm going to copy these first 5. Okay, so let's copy these and then go to env file and then paste it here. Now this JWT access secret, you need to create a strong secret here that I'm going to show you that how you're going to create it. Same for JWT refresh secret, but for now you can just keep it like this. Mongo URI, once the deployment is done, so we'll go here, then we are going to get the URL. So I'm just going to click on connect. I think this is completed. So do MongoDB for VS Code, copy this and then you just paste it here, and then in the password what will be the password. So it was Sangam2025. okay. So now with this the very basic structure is completed. So now we will be creating the folder structure, right? So from the first time only I will be creating the entire folder structure so that it will be easy for you to understand. Now I'm going to follow a standard structure because this here we are using MongoDB, not Postgres. Postgres means I usually try to keep like in module structure. So modular structure means every module will be a module. So for example, let's say you have a user module, so I'll be creating a modules folder. Inside that I'll be having a user, and inside that I'll be having repository. So repository is basically talking to your DB, PostgreDB. Then we are going to have the services, routes, etc. Because this is here we are using a MongoDB, so it's like a MON-like structure. So for MON-like structure, what I'm going to do, I'll be creating the controllers format. So I'm just going to do controllers. Then we are going to have the models, so these will be our MongoDB models. Then we are going to have the routes, so all our express backend routes. Then I'm also going to create a config folder. Okay, so this is where I'm going to create all the configs, and also I'm going to create a lib folder. So this is where we are going to create any kind of utils. Okay, so this is the structure that we are going to use. Now very important, I'm also going to create another file which will be app.ts. Now this is just to keep the structure very clean. Why? We are not going to overload the server.ts with information. What we are going to do, right, main express application logic we are going to keep in app.ts, and that app.ts we are going to use in server.ts. So what will happen, your server.ts will look very clean and it will be very much organized. Now this is one of the best structure you can follow. And also I forgot definitely one very important folder, that is middleware. Now as we progress we are going to add more folders, but this is how you can follow a proper folder structure. So we are going to have our control. Now if you want to do more, right, what you can do, right, you can create another services folder also, but for that all the services and logic we are going to do in the controllers folder. Then we are going to use a routes for our express routes. Middleware means any kind of auth middleware. Lib is basically where we are going to have the utils, and config is basically where we are going to have all kind of configuration, for example DB connection. So with this part is completed. Now let's move on to the next one. Alright, so now next thing what we'll do, so first we'll start with creating our DB connection, because that will be the first prerequisite that we need to follow. So I'll go here in the config and let's do db.ts. Let's close everything else, and now what I'm going to do, first I'm going to import mongoose from mongoose. Next we are simply going to create a function, so I'll do export async function, and I'm simply going to do connect to db, and here I'll just take a try catch. So let's take error and let's render a error here. Okay, so I'm just going to do here error, and I'll do MongoDB connection error, and here I'm just going to do process.exit 1. Now inside try, this will be very simple. You just do await, and I'll do mongoose.connect. So connect is the method if you are doing this for the first time. So connect is where it's actually it's like a simple method which is going to connect to your MongoDB database. So to get the MongoDB database, what we are going to do simply, so I'm just going to do process.env, and then you're going to use what? You're going to use the environment variable name, so which is mongo_uri. So I'm going to pass it here, and then you're going to use this. Okay, so this is just simply telling her that string or undefined, something like that. So now this is going to do the connection. Once this is done, very important, just do a log here just to check that okay, Mongo connection is completed. So the Mongo connection is successfully established. Okay, so I think this is done. So this is what actually you need. Let me just see if I can increase this. No, I think let's keep it like this. Alright, so I think this will be very simpler. Now next thing, what we need to do, right, we need to go to app.ts. Now remember, I already mentioned that app.ts is not your entry point. Your entry point is server.ts. That means this file is going to keep all your express application logic. Okay, so this is where you're going to create the express app. This is where you're going to handle the cookie parser, cookie related things, and let's say you want to add some cost related information, all those things here. So let's say how we are going to do that. So first I'm going to do import express from express, and I'm simply going to also import cookie parser from cookie parser, and I'm also going to now, okay, let's first do one thing. We're also going to import the .env from .env, and this will be our first step. So I'm going to call the .env.config. Now this is going to do what? This is going to load all your environment variables. So load.env file contents into process.env by default. Okay, so this is the first thing you have to do. Once this is done, I already mentioned that this is where we are going to create our application. So I'm just going to do const app, and this will be express. So this is going to do what? This is going to create an express application, right? So this is a top level function that is exported by the express module. You actually need this because this is where you are going to listen to a port, you are going to use all the routes and everything. Now once this is done, extremely important, you need to have the express.json middleware, which is going to do what? Which is going to parse the JSON request body. Now remember, you're not going to have the backend always, right? Backend is very important, but you also need a front end. So from front end, you're going to send some request, you're going to pass some data to your backend, and your backend is going to read that, right? So this middleware is going to do what? It's going to parse the JSON request body that you're going to send from your front end side. So you're going to do use, and here you're going to pass a handler. This is nothing but it's a middleware, inbuilt middleware. So if you can see, it returns middleware that only parses the JSON and only looks at request where the content type headers matches the type options. Now these all are very basic knowledge that you need. Now also very important, you are going to use the cookie parser also. Now these actually need to parse cookies, right, into request.cookies. And now also what I'm going to do, right, I'm simply going to do, okay, let's do a health checkpoint. I'm going to do, okay, health, and let's do a request response. And what I'll do, right, simply I'm just going to pass res.json, and I'm going to pass a status. Okay, that's it. And then I'm simply going to do now export default app. So these will be our express application that we are exporting. Now we are going to use this in our server.ts. So now what I'm going to do, right, simply, so here I'm just going to create a function. So I'll do a async function, and I'll do start int let's do start server, maybe start server, something like that. And then here, first of all, first step, very important, you are going to call connect to db. Okay, so this is where you're going to call this. And also let's do one thing, right, we can log this here only. Instead of here, we can log this in this file only, in the entry file. So I'm just going to log it here. Now after this, first of all, you're going to create a server. So I'm going to create server, and now you need the HTTP module. So I'm going to do HTTP from, I get the HTTP, right? You can also do like this, node : HTTP. Okay, but we need HTTP, and then this will give a create server. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this app here. Okay, so I'm going to pass the app, and then what you're going to do simply, so I'm going to do server.listen. Now if you notice one thing, right, if you go here and do app.listen, you're also going to get the listen, but this is also is fine. So now you're going to pass what? You're going to pass process.env.port. And now here what you're going to do, simply you're going to simply pass a log, and I'm just going to do server is now listening to port, and you're going to pass process.env.port. Alright, so I think this is done, and now I'm simply going to do start server dot catch. If in case there is any error, so I'm just going to do a error here, and I'll do error while starting the server, and I'm simply going to do process.exit, and I'm going to pass 1, and also let's log this error. Okay, so now let's save this. I think this will be more than enough in terms of starting point. Now we can test this one. So if I go to package.json, I have the dev script, right? So I'm just going to do npm run dev, and let's see if in case the database connection is successful or any error is happening here. Fantastic. So Mongo connection is successfully established. Server is now listening to port 5000. That means what? That means this is working fine, right? So this is done. So now what will be our next step? Now remember, I'm going to give you the overall structure that what actually we are going to do. First of all, whenever you'll be creating any backend application where the database is involved, right? So first you're going to have what? You're going to think that, okay, what will be my how to say, like, my structure of the data. So let's say I'm talking about, let's say I'm like everyone asks me that, okay, how you usually think or come up with this video, how you can think about the architecture. It's very simple. See, you need to understand that what you're going to build. Let's say you're creating any you want to start your own business, you'll be creating your SaaS, right? So you think that, okay, if I have a user, think in that way that, okay, I'll be having some customers. Now customer is going to have some information, right? So what are the things that I need from the customer? Definitely I'm not talking about any sensitive information or anything. So I'm talking about the modeling of data. If you can create the modeling of data and the communication between two models properly, you will be able to create any kind of project from scratch. I hope you're getting what I mean, right? So for example, let's say in this case I'll be having a user model. Now let's say I am creating an e-commerce application. So user is going to buy some product. That means I'm going to have some connection between a particular user and some product that he is going to buy. Now this is where the main important part lies whenever you're going to create any kind of application. Now it can be a full stack, it can be front end or back end, doesn't matter, right? You first of all, first entry point will be how your data will talk, right? That will be the first entry point. Now if you ask me, okay, here we are creating an authentication application or video, so definitely we are going to create a user model. Now I'll be thinking, okay, what are the things that I need for that particular module? Now I'll give you one very simple example that you can very clearly understand. Now consider in this particular video I'm only creating a authentication module using JWT, means only email and password, something like that, and I don't have any email verification or let's say two-factor, something like that. So in that case I'll be having, let's say, user name, user email or user password. That's it, right? Now let's say your client requirement is, you also need to implement a email password authentication as well as a Google authentication, as well as there will be a two-factor authentication. Now in that case you need to think, okay, now this is becoming tricky, so now my model is going to definitely change, right? So I can't do each and everything, all these features using only name, email and password. So that means I need a flag where I need to store whether the user email is verified or not. I need another flag to understand whether the user actually enabled the two-factor authentication or not. I hope you're getting it. So this is how I usually approach whenever I'll create any project or video. So I hope you understand. So note it down. First of all, whenever you're going to start any project, definitely you are going to understand, okay, these all the features I'm going to create. But if you can do the modeling of the data and communication of the data of that entire product that you are going to create by yourself, you will be able to create any project. You don't need any help. Okay, now any help means you will be able to do that project independently. That is the important part here. And I know I took some time because some of you actually also asked me multiple times to create a video. I will do that later, but this is I'm giving some overall idea. So now I'll go to these models, and first I'm going to create a, let's say I'll do user.model.ts, something like that. Okay, and now first of all I need to understand, okay, what are the things that I'm going to have in this particular model. So first of all, let's see, this is a video for tutorial purpose, right? Now I'm going to write 20 properties here, that also I can do, but I'll give you some idea that how I usually think. So let's say user is going to have a name, user is going to have an email and password, definitely. Now user is going to have a role. Now whenever you'll be creating any application, you have to think, okay, I need 3 roles. So in that case you're going to take the role in that way. So I'm going to have a role. I'm also going to have a property just to understand whether the user email is verified or not. Then I'm going to have a 2-factor secret, and also I'm going to have a reset password token, because we are also going to have the reset password logic, right? User will be able to do the reset of his own password. And second, also let's do, maybe we'll take one more property, that when that reset password is going to expire. So this is how you need to understand that, okay, these all the modeling of data or the schema that I'm going to hold, this user schema is going to hold. So first what I'll do, right, simply first I'm going to import something from Mongoose. Okay, I need the schema first and I need the model. So first let's create I'll keep this on simple. Okay, so for now I just do new schema. Now inside this I'm going to have a email property. Now email is going to have a type which will be string. Required will be true. Then I'm also going to have a unique property which will be true. Then I'm also going to have a lowercase property which will be true, right? And also let's take because email we want to remove all the space around, so I'm going to do trim will be true. So this will be my first. Now let's take a password property. Now I'm going to take this one as password hash, and I'm going to do this on type which will be string, and I'm also going to do required will be true. Next I'm also going to take a role property which is actually important, so I'm going to just take this one type as string, and also I'm going to take a enum. So for now we are going to handle only 2, so I'm going to have a user role and also I'm going to have admin role. You can take as many roles you want based on your application that you are creating. Then I'm also going to take, very important, is email verified or not. So for this particular user, whether the user verified his or her email or not, so that we need to check. So type will be what? This will be a boolean, and also I'm going to do what? So let's do default will be false. Okay, now also let's do one thing, let's take a name property. So name, I'm just going to take a type will be string. Okay, now what else? Maybe we'll take 2-factor enabled, so that we are going to do later. So I'm going to do 2-factor enabled or not. So here I'm simply going to take this one type as boolean, and also let's do default as false. Now next thing, we are going to take 2-factor secret. So 2-factor secret, I'm going to take the type as string, and also we are going to take default as undefined. Next we are also going to need, let's take a token version. So here I'm going to take type as number, and I'm going to do default as 0. And also this, we are going to use this one when we are going to do invalidation of refresh token. And here I'm going to do reset password token, and this is where we're going to use the type as string, and also I'm going to do default as let's do this one as undefined. And at the end we are going to finish with reset password token. No, let's do reset password expires, and here I'm going to do type as date, and default I'm going to do undefined. Okay, so I think this is done. And now here after this I'm simply going to use a time let's do timestamps, and I'm going to do this one as true. Alright, so I think this is done, and at the end we are simply going to do export. Let's do const user, and I'm simply going to use the model, and here I'm going to pass this one as user, and let's do user schema. Alright, so I think this is done. So this will be our schema for the user that we are going to use throughout this particular video, right? So I think till this part this is done. Now we are going to definitely start working on implementing the main structure, right? So we'll start with creating our register route and the login route and email verification, right? And then only we'll move to this reset password and all the other things. So first let's start with the next one. Now what I'm going to do, right, I'll go a little slow, because till this part I think this will be very simple to understand. Now from the register and login part I'm going to take little slowly, so that you'll be able to understand very clearly what is happening, so that with this video only you will not going to forget anything about authentication and authorization, how all these things work. So let's start with the next part. Alright, so now let's start with our register controller. So I'll go to the controllers, and then let's create auth.controller.ts. okay, so let's close everything else. And also what we can do, right, let's do one thing. Let's create an auth folder here, and I'm going to just remove this move this inside this, and also I'm just going to create one more file. So I'll do auth.schema.ts. so first let's create the function. So I'll do export async function, and I'm just going to give this one name as register handler. So this will be request, and the type will be request from express. Then we are going to get the response, which will be the type from response, which will be from also express. Okay, inside this we'll take a try catch, and now so let's do each and everything step by step. Okay, so first thing, whenever you are going to have or do any kind of register, what will happen? You're going to have some kind of UI, right, or front end, and you're going to send the information from your front end, right? So you're going to have an email or password or name, blah blah, anything. So then first of all what I'm going to do, so first I'm going to validate the request body that I'm receiving from the front end, whether that is correct or not. I hope you're getting. So first let's do one thing. Let's go to, oh see, I'm doing in the opposite file, man. Okay, let's cut it from here. This is in the schema file, and I'm going to do paste it here. So first I'll start with this schema, and so let's create a register schema. So I'll do register schema, and I'm also going to import z from zod, and so this will be z. So I'll do z.object, and now here you're going to give all the data that you actually need. So first I need an email, so I'm just going to do what? So I'll do z.email. okay, and second I'm also going to do password. So I'll do password, and I'll do z.string, and let's give a min of 4, or maybe let's do a 6. okay, so that means what I'm telling that, okay, this will be my structure, that this will be my structure of the input or the request body, that I need an email and password that I'm going to receive from my front end, something like that. Also let's do one thing. Let's take a name also will be z.string. okay, and let's do a min of maybe 3. Alright, so now these 3 things we are going to receive. Now I'll go to our controllers. So first what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, so first I'm going to do the validation of the request body using Zod. So now I'm just going to do const result, and you're going to get the register schema, and this is going to give you this safe parse option. And now you're going to pass the data. Now what will be the data which is unknown? This data is nothing but the request.body that you're going to receive. So I'm going to do request.body. So it's going to do the validation in case if something goes wrong. So we'll do result.success if this is false. So when where it can go wrong actually. So let's say you are passing a invalid email, or you're passing a password, but the password is only 3 characters, but it needs 6 characters. So in that case what it will give, it is going to give you that, okay, there is something wrong in the data, or it might be invalid data, so you have to make it proper. So now I'm simply going to do what? So you're going to return immediately, and you're going to do a status. So what will be the status? Now status will be very important, so you're going to use a 400 status here, So this is the invalid data, and I'm simply going to pass a message, and I'll do invalid data, and also I'm going to pass a errors, and let's pass the error. So this result is going to give you a error. No, this will be result. So do result.error dot, and I'm going to just do a flatten. That's it. So that means if something goes wrong, if the data format is incorrect, so you're going to return. If this is not the case, I'm going to do what? So I'm going to receive the couple of things from where. So I'll do result dot data. Now this result dot data already holds the name, the email, and the password. Why? Because of this input format that we are passing here, right? If you add a new property here, it will automatically give you the suggestion, because we are already telling Sort that okay, this will be my input structure. So now I'm simply going to take a, let's do a method. So I'll do normalized email, and I'll do email dot to lowercase dot trim. All right, so I think this is done. So now what will be the next step? Now all the steps you need to understand very clearly that how actually this auth flow works if you're doing this for the first time. So now let's say you're creating an application and you're having two users, right? 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 are having same email, and this first user is already registered in your application with test@gmail.com. Now let's say the second user can have the same email, right? It's possible, right? There can be multiple users with same email, with the same email, which is test@gmail.com. Now in case if your logic or if your code is allowing both the user to log in with same password, you're not going to understand it that which user is what. So that means that is the reason what we've given in our model. We already given that the email has to be unique. So that means you need to check, okay, if this test@gmail.com, if this email is already present in your DB, you are not going to allow another user to log in with, to register with the same password, same email. So that means you're going to give a check here that okay, if this user is already present, that means this user is an existing user. So I'm just going to do const, and I'll do existing user. How you're going to get that? So you're going to do await, and now I need the model. Now this model will be my user model, okay? And now this user model is going to give you what? The find one method. Now these all are the MongoDB Mongo's method that we are using to communicate with our DB. So I'm going to check, okay, this user will have the email property, right? Because we have already taken the email property, and this email is equal to this normalized email. That means what? This email is already present. That means one user is already registered. So in that case, I'm just going to give a error message. So what error message I'm going to give that okay, if this user is already existing user, I'm going to return res.status, and let's do a status of 409, and now I'm simply going to do .json, and you're going to pass a message, and message will do what? Will do that this email is already in use, please try with a different email. So this is the second check. Once this is done, now what you are going to do? So now we are going to hash our password. Now what I mean by hash our password, let's say if any user is typing 1 2 3 4 5 6, you are not going to store directly this password in your DB. You are going to make this one, make a hash out of this, and then you are going to store the hash in your DB. So that means we are going to create a password hash. And now I'm going to do what? I'll do await, and let's do one thing. Let's create a method. So what I'll do, right? Let's go to our lib folder, and inside this I'm going to create a hash.ts file. Okay. So now what I'll do, simply first I'm going to import bcrypt from bcrypt.js, and then I'm going to create a method. So I'll do export async function, and let's do this one as hash password, right? And this is going to receive the password as a string or as a input. This password is the raw password that you are passing from your front end, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we are going to create a salt out of it. So I'll do await bcrypt dot, and this will give you this gen salt, and you're going to pass a number. I'm going to keep this one as 10. Maybe you can keep this one as 12 also. 12 is also fine, right? So let's keep this on 10 only. and then I'm going to do a hash, and this will be avid bcrypt dot hash, and you're going to pass the password that, okay, I want to hash this password and this need a number which will be this salt, and then you're going to simply return this hash. Okay, and we need one more method here that we are going to do later, but for now this is more than enough. So now we will go back here, right? So now what you're going to do, you're going to call that method. So I'll do hash password, and you're going to pass the password. Now this password is the password that you're receiving from your front end, so you're going to pass this password here. Okay, see, each and every steps you need to understand. Okay, now this is done. So with this part is completed. Now what you're going to do, now we are going to create a document, and that document we are going to store in our DB. So I'm going to do const, and let's give this one as newly created user, and this will be avid, and I'll do user. Now you're going to call the model. Now this is the mongoose model, and this is going to give you this create method. Okay, and here you're going to pass all the properties. So what are the properties that we are going to pass? The first, we are going to pass the email. So this email will become the normalized email. Okay, so this is the first thing. I don't know why this IntelliSense is little slow. Second, we are going to pass the password hash that we have created, this one. Next, we are going to pass the role. Now by default we have the role as user, so I'm going to just keep this one as user. Okay, then we are going to pass is email verified. This will be false, right? We haven't verified the email yet. And also I'm going to do two-factor enabled. Two-factor enabled will be also false. Okay, so these all the things we are going to pass. So now this is going to do what? This is going to create a new user, but this is not yet completed. Why? Because we now need to implement the email verification part here. Okay, not email verification, this is where we are going to send the email verification to that particular user. So now we are going to do that. Before we are going to implement this one, I just wanted to give you one simple option that we are going to use this mail trap. Now this is very simple to use, right? What you can do, just search for mail trap on Google, create a new account, or you can just log in with Google, it's completely free. And then what you need to do, right, will be coming to this dashboard, or you can just save this also, mailtrap.io/home, and then you'll go to these sandboxes. Now remember, I'm not going to show you all the credentials, because or else some of you actually use that, which is not correct. So I'm going to just show you that you're going to get this SMTP host, you're going to get the port, you're going to get the user, and you're going to get the password. And then we are going to use this email from, and just give some no reply @iapp.com, because we don't have any domain or anything for now. So we need all this information I already mentioned. So once you'll go to the sandboxes, right, I know some of you were able to see this, but still anyway it's fine. So I already tested some of the things. So I'll just go here, and you'll see that you'll be getting all this information here, right? So you'll see host, password and everything, username, password, all the other details. So you actually need all this port, so you can use any of this port. This is the host. Password definitely they are not going to show here, but you can just copy from here, and this will be your username. So all these details you need. So what I'll just do, right, before we are going to implement the email verification part, so I'm going to just copy this. Okay, so I'll copy this, go to our code, go to env, and then just paste it here. I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to just copy paste all these information from here. I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to save. Once we'll do that, then I'm going to start working on the email verification part. So let's do that in the next part. Alright, so I just copy pasted all the envs. So first thing what we'll do, right, so let's go here, and let's go here. I need this, so I'm just going to install the node mailer. This is what we are going to use to send emails. And let's open a terminal. Let's install. Also we need to install the types. And let's install the types also. Okay, so first thing, in the meantime, we will go to leave, and I'm going to create one more folder, file. I'll do email.ts. Okay, first I'm going to import node mailer from, so we're going to import this one for node mailer. So now here let's create a function. So I'll do export async function, and I'm just going to do send email maybe. So what this is going to receive, first it's going to receive the to, okay, that to whom I want to send, which will be string. I want to pass the, sorry, I want to get the subject, which will be string, and also I want to get a, maybe let's say HTML, which will be string. So now what I'll do, right, simply, so first you're going to give a condition, okay, that if process.env dot these all these are not present. So let's say, okay, let me just copy from here this host, right, or if this process.env dot smtp underscore user or the password. So the process.env dot smtp underscore pass. If all these are not present, so we are going to simply log a message, and I'll simply just going to do that email envs are not present or something, not available, whatever you want to write, and then you are going to simply return. So now after this I will take all of this. So let's start with taking the host first. So I'm going to do a host. So this will be process.env.smtp underscore host. Next I'm going to have the port, so I'll do const port, and this will be number of process.env.smtp underscore port, right? For this one I'm using 587, okay, or else you're going to just pass 587 like this. Next you're going to take I'll do const, let's do user, so this will be process.env.smtp underscore user, and then we're going to take a password, so which I'll do process.env.smtp underscore pass. And at the end we are also going to have the from, right? So I'll do const from, because we have this from, email from, so I'll copy this, so I'll do const from, and this will be process.env.email from. So all this we need. So now what we can do simply, so we need to create a new SMTP transporter for each and every email that we are going to send. So I'm just going to do const, and let's do a transporter. So this call the node mailer, okay, and this is going to give you this create transport. And what are the things you need to pass it? First you need to pass the host, which it will take from here. Then you're going to pass the port. Then you're going to pass secure, so we'll pass this one as false. Then you're going to pass the auth information, because we need to authenticate or else this is not going to work, which needs a password and user both, and this will be password. That's it. So this is going to create a transporter, and then we're going to call the send mail method from this transporter, but you need to use await here. So we're going to use this transporter dot send email, send email, and here actually you need the from means from whom we are passing. So pass this from to whom we are passing. To is nothing but these two, and then you're also going to pass the subject, and you're going to pass the HTML. That's it. Now see, this is very, very clean to understand, and this is what actually you need as a method. Now this method we are going to call once the user will register, right? So this is how these things work. So what will happen whenever you are going to register, we are not immediately going to mark this is email verified as false, right? It's not going to work. So first we are going to send email. Once the verification is completed, then only we are going to do what? Then only we are going to mark this field, this email verified field, as true. So now what I'll do, right, first in this verification part we are going to create a short-lived JWT for email verification. So I'm just going to do const, and let's do something like verify token, and I will do, so first let's going to import JWT from, so I'm going to do JSON web token, and here I'm simply going to do, so we'll do JWT dot sign, right? And what actually this is going to receive, this is going to, so we're going to pass a sub, and here what are you going to pass, right? So let's pass the newly created user that will be created. So it's going to give you what? It's going to give you a ID, okay? So I'm just going to do dot ID. So this is going to give you ID, And then also I'm just going to pass the token. Now remember, for token, for now I'm just going to use the JWT access secret that we are using in our env. For now this one I'm going to use. So I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to pass a process dot env dot this. Okay, and at the end we are going to pass the expires. So let's do expires in, and I'm going to do maybe 1 day, 2 day, whatever. Let's do 1 day only. So this is going to create a verify token, and now we need a verify URL, because this is where user is going to click whenever they'll be getting the email, right? This is how it usually happens. So you'll get an email, you're going to click on a link, it will redirect, and then you'll see it's like, okay, your email has been verified. I think you know all this flow, right? So you'll do verify URL, and now let's do one thing. I'm going to create a method. So I'm just going to do get app URL, something like that. I'm going to create this slash, it's going to go to this method slash auth slash verify hyphen email, and now you're going to pass the token, and this token is actually very important, right? And this is, you are going to use this verify token. So this will be, let's say, available for only 1 day, something like that. And this get URL get app URL can simply create this here. So I'm just going to do function get app URL, and you're going to simply pass, okay, if the return process dot env dot app URL, I think we don't have this, we are going to create this, or else for now we can just simply pass that, okay, we are going to pass this one as http:/, we are going to use localhost : right, and then you're going to pass the process dot env dot port. So this will be our get app URL. So now this will give you the verify URL. Now once the verify URL you are going to get, now we are going to call this send email function. So I'm just going to do await send email, and now you're going to pass, first of all you need to pass 2. So what will be 2? 2 is nothing but the newly created user.email. So this is the user is registered, so this email you're going to pass. So you're going to pass newly created user.email, because this will have the email property right here. And then we are also going to pass the subject. So maybe let's do verify your email, and at the end maybe I'm just going to pass a simple HTML, right? So let's do p, and let's do maybe what I'll do, right, I'll simply pass, now let's do please verify your email by clicking this link, something like this. And then I'm going to also, okay, let's remove this here. And here I'm also going to take one more p, and inside this I'm going to take a, and here what you need to pass, you need to pass a href property. Okay, so this will be what, so this will be the verify URL, this one, and inside this you're going to pass this verify URL. Okay, I think that will be fine, that's it. So this will be our HTML part. So this is going to send the email. Once this is done, at the end we are going to return a response back. So I'll do res.status of 201.json, and inside this I'm going to pass a message, and I'm going to do user registered, and we are also going to, let's say, pass a user information, right? So I'm going to pass the ID, which will be newly created user.id. We're going to pass the email, which will be newly created user.email, and also maybe let's pass the role, which will be newly created user.role. I think this will be fine. What else? Maybe, okay, let's pass the is email verified also. So I'll do is email verified, which will be newly created user.isEmail verified. That's it. So I think this is done. Here we are going to simply pass a return. So I'll do res.status. Now here I'm going to pass a 500. I'll do .json, and I'm going to pass a message, and I'll do internal server error. Also we are going to log this error here. Alright, so I think this is done, but this is not yet completed. Why? Because we also need to create a verify email handler function. Why? Because whenever user will go to this route /auth/verify email, that time we actually need to verify the email, right? Or else how it will going to work. And also we need to mark this is email verified as true, because once user is going to verify the email, we are going to mark that property as true, so that next time whenever user is going to now try to log in, the application will understand, okay, this user is already registered and the user email is also verified, or else it's not going to let the user to log in. I hope you are getting. So first let's create this method, then we are going to create the routes for the auth, and then we are going to test in Postman. So let's do that in the next part. Alright, so now we'll start with the verify email handler. So let's create one more function here. So I'm going to do export async function, and let's do this one as verify email handler. So we're going to get the request and response. And now first of all, what we need to do, right, you remember that we actually created one token here. Okay, now this token we are going to get from where? From our query, request query. So this will be request.query.token. So now first of all we need to get it, so we'll do const and let's do token, and we'll do request.query.token. So this is the first thing that we need to do, and this will be as string or undefined. Alright, now next thing, first of all we are going to check if this token is not present. So we are going to return a response.status of 400.json, and let's do a message that verification token is missing. So now this is the first prerequisite that we need to do, then only we are going to take the try and catch block. Okay, so first in this try block, what are the things we need to do? Now first thing, we need to actually verify the JWT, and we are going to get the payload back. So how we are going to get verify the JWT. Now remember, here we have actually taken the process.env.jwt access secret. So what I can do, we can use the JWT verify method, right? So I'm just going to do const and let's do payload. So we are going to use JWT, and this is going to give you this verify method. Now here we are going to pass the token, and based on what we are going to verify, so based on the process.env.the JWT access secret that we have taken here. So if both are same, that means this is a valid user, right? So here I'm just going to do as, and then we are going to pass the sub, which will be string. So this is done. Now what we are going to do, the next thing, okay, this is correct only. So now next thing we are going to find the user. So I'm going to do find user. So user will be avid. So we're going to get the user dot find, and let's use the find by ID, right? Because we only need the ID, because if you remember here we have set the newly created user ID in the sub. So now what we can do, simply we do find by ID, and this will be this payload dot sub. Now payload.sub is nothing but this is the ID that we actually stored and we created the JWT. So again you are going to give a small check that if not user is present. So I'm just going to give one more 400 response back, and I'll simply going to do that user is user not found. Now after this we are going to now simply just give a small check. Okay, now this is important part, that okay, this user that we are finding, if this user email is already verified, so in that case we are not going to do anything. Okay, sorry, I need to pause because of some noise. Okay, so here what I'll do, right, so simply we are going to return, I'll do res.verified, right, email is already verified. Alright, so now if this is not the case, then what I need to do is just simply going to make user.isEmailVerified will be true. And now don't remember to save the user, so you'll do await and you'll do user.save. So this is going to update this property to true, and it's going to save in our DB. And then what you can do, right, simply copy this and paste it here, and then we can do email is now verified, email is now verified, and I'll do you can log in. Okay, so this is done, and in the catch simply just return a 400, right? So you can just copy this, or 500, that internal server error, and we can also log the error. That's it, and I think this is done. So now the email verification and everything is done. So what we need to do, right, we are also going to create the login handler also at the same time, so that we can check all the three flows together. So let's create one more function here. So I'm going to do export async function, and I'm just going to do this one as login handler. So get the request and response. All right, so now the first of all, so here what we'll do, right, okay, before that let's create one more schema here. So I'm just going to do export const, and I'm just going to do login schema, and this will be z.object, and inside this first of all I need the email definitely, and also I need the password. These two things I need for now. Okay, so now let's save this, and also we also need to, if you want, right, you can also create the types, but for now let's just leave it here. So we need to do what? So first of all, what will be the first step? The first step will be, we need to first verify or check the request.body that we are going to get from our front end side, just like we have done for the register handler, right? So we have done this part. So now what I'll do, right, we are going to copy this part, it will be exactly same, and let's paste it here. Before that, let's take a try and catch, right? And inside this I'll be doing the first thing, but instead of this register schema, this will be the login schema. Okay, so login schema dot save parts request.body, and we are going to return invalid data. So now after this, what we are going to do, we are going to get two things. So first, this will be result dot data, and let's take the email and the password. So two things we need. So now again let's do one thing, let's do the normalize email. So I'm going to just copy this, and we haven't passed the name here. See, just now I've seen, we also need to save the name in this while registering the user. Sorry about that. Okay, so now what I'll do, right, I'm going to normalize the email. So let's copy this, and now what I can do, right, simply I'll just paste it here. And now what we can do, right, first of all we need to find the user by email. So it's the exactly same thing. So we'll do user, and I'm simply going to do await, and you'll do user dot find, and you're going to pass the email, which will become this normalized email. That's it. And now what I'll do, simply I'll do if not equal to user. So we are going to do that return, let's do res dot status of 400, and I'm simply going to do dot json, and I'll do a message that invalid email or password. Okay, so now once this is done, now next thing what we need to do, right, we are going to check the user password. Now remember, while creating the user or while registering the user, we have saved the password hash in our DB. Now how we are going to check it? So that password hash that we saved in our DB, that we are going to check with the password that we are going to receive from the front end. So what will happen whenever you go to any website, you will do what? You're going to type your email, you're going to type a password and click on submit. That password is nothing but this password that you're receiving. This one we are going to check with the password that is stored in our DB. Okay, if both are correct or both are same, that means the user entered a correct password. If not, that means user entered a wrong password. So to do this, what we can do, right, maybe let's create one more method in this. So I'm simply going to do export async function, and let's give this one as check password. So I'll do check password, and this is going to receive the password, which will be string, and also it's going to receive the hash, which also will be string. Hash is nothing but the password hash that we have stored. And then you very simply just going to call the bcrypt, and this is going to give you the compare. Okay, and then you're going to check this both the things, if both are correct or not. Very simple. That's it. Now what you can do, right, simply, so we can go here, and I'm simply going to const okay, use the await, and I'll do check password. Now here what do you need to do? Now this is important, you need to understand. So first I'm going to pass the password. Now remember, this password is the password that you are receiving from the front end side, but how you are going to get the hash? Now this hash is nothing but this user that you are getting from your DB. This user is having this property, right? So if I do user dot, and you will see that you will be getting all this property password hash. We are going to have the user dot password has this. Okay, why this is not coming? This is correct, right? Oh, why is that? Oh, we need to find one here, that's right. So we need to find one. So now this will work. Yeah, so find one, not find, and then this will give you the password hash property, which will be string, which is stored in our DB. So both the things we are going to check. If both are correct, that means if this is not false, that means user entered a correct password. If this is false, that means the password that user entered, that is wrong. So here what I can do, simply inside this I'm going to return that invalid password. Okay, that's it. I'm not sure if you guys are getting noise or not. Some work is happening on the outside, so I can't do multiple times pause, right? So I think what you can do, right, you can minimize the volume in case you are getting some background noise. So now here after this, what I'll do, simply we need to give one small check, and this is very important. Some of you actually can miss this one. So here you have to check it, that if this user email is not verified, you will not allow the user to log in. Very important, because sometimes what will happen after register, let's say user didn't click on the email for the verification and then they try to log in. If you don't give this check, what will happen? Even if the user email is not verified, user will be able to log in. I hope you're getting right what I'm telling. So this is very important check that you need to give, and these minor things you need to understand. But you don't have to return 400, you'll be returning 403, and then you are going to give a message what that, okay, please verify your email before logging in. Makes sense, right? Logging in. Okay, now once this is done, so after this what we are going to do, simply, so we need to now create the tokens. So I'm just going to do const and I'll do access token, and these will be, so maybe let's do one thing, let's create a method, something like create access token. So inside leave I'm going to create one more file here, and I'll do token.ts. and here what I'll do is, first I'm going to import JWT from JSON web token, and I'll simply going to do export function, and we'll do create access token. So this is going to receive the user ID, which will be string, also going to receive a role. So role will be either user or it will be either admin, and also we have to give comma here, and then also you're going to give, maybe let's take a token version, which will be number. So these three things we are going to receive. Then we are going to create a payload. Now this is actually very important. So here you are going to, let's take a sub. So this will be my user ID, and also I'm going to pass the role, and I'm going to pass the token version, these three things. And now what I'm going to do, right, we need to sign with this access secret, and then we are also going to give a expiry. Now remember, this expiry actually differs. You can give 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, depending on what kind of application that you are creating. So here I'm just going to do JWT dot sign, and you're going to pass the payload. You're going to pass the process dot env dot, so we have the JWT underscore access underscore secret, right? So this one, and then you're going to pass a expires in. So we'll do expires in. I'm going to give this one as 30 minutes for now. Okay, that's it. So this is going to create an access token. So now what I'm going to do, simply, so we'll go here and then just create this. So I'll do create access token, and you're going to pass the, so first it's going to receive what? It's going to receive the user ID, role, and token version. So user ID will be what? This user is going to have the ID. So we'll do user.id, then you're going to pass the user.role, because these also will be having the property role, and then you're also going to pass user.token version. So this is going to create the access token, and now we are also going to receive, oh, we are getting some type undefined is not assignable to, okay, something we are, but in the role we have given these already, right? So let's check here. Okay, we should give a default here also. So let's give a default, and I'm going to give the default as user. Okay, yeah. So now I think this should work. So now what I'll do, right, simply, so I'm also going to create one more token. So let's create a refresh token. So I'll go to token, and I'm simply going to do export function, and I'll do create refresh token, and this is also going to receive the user ID and the token version. So let's take these two things, and I'm going to remove this role, and here I'm going to create the payload. So exactly same thing. So here I'm not going to take the role, so it only take the user ID and the token version. And then what I'll do, right, I'm going to return the same thing, and let's maybe let's do this on what we can do, right? Maybe let's do this on a 7 day. Okay, so this is going to create the refresh token, and x value will be 7 days. So now we are going to call this method. So we'll go here, and then let's do const, maybe let's give this one name as refresh token, and I'll do create refresh token, and inside this we're going to pass the user.id, and also I'm going to give the user.token version, two things. Once this is done, so we are simply going to set the refresh token for HTTP only cookie. But how we are going to do that? So I'm going to first take a variable, and I'll do const is this prod environment or not. So I'm simply going to check if the process.env dot so I'll go here and check. Don't copy my all these things, right? This one also you can use this JWT refresh secret also, which is fine, but I'm checking if the environment is development or prod, and based on that I'll do raise.cookie, and here we are going to first give the name as, let's give this one as refresh token. Okay, and then you are going to pass the refresh token that you have created, and then we are going to pass couple of properties here. So first of all I'm going to give HttpOnly, so this will be true. Okay, then I'm going to give, if this is secure, very important, if this is prod environment, then only this will be secure. Then after this I'm also going to give a same site property, which will be, let's give this one as lax, and I'm also giving a max age. So I'll do this one as maybe 7 days, right? So I'll do 7 into 24 into 60 into 60 into 1000. That's it. So this is going to create our cookie. Once this is done, at the end we are going to return the response back. So I'm going to do return, and here what I can do, right, simply, so I'll do res.status of 200, and let's do one thing, I'm also going to do .json, and inside I'm going to return a message that login is successful, login successfully done, and also I'm going to pass the access token, and I'm also going to pass the user information. So I'll pass the user ID, so I'll do user.id, pass the email, so I'll do user.email, and also I'm going to do we need to give something, we need to do if this is equal to production, and also we are going to give the role. So role I'm going to do user.role. Also let's pass is email verified, this is important. So I'll do is email verified will be if user.is email verified, and also I'm going to do, for now let's pass the two-factor enabled. So I'll do two-factor enabled, and this will be user.two-factor enabled. So this is done, and here I'm simply going to return a 500 error in the catch block. So I'll copy this and we are going to paste it. So this is done. So now what we are going to do, right, simply, so let's create the routes. So I'll go to routes, I'll create auth.routes.ts, and here first we need the router. So I'm going to do router from express. So I need the router. Then I'm going to create the router. So I'll do const router, and this will be the router. And what I can do, right, first I'm going to do router.post. So I'll go to /register, and we're going to call the register handler. Okay, then I'm also going to do same for login and the verify email, right? So we'll do login handler here, and this will become login handler. Also need to do verify email handler. Now this is important because if you go here, right, we need to use this /verify email. So copy this, and I'm also going to do the same for, so I'll do router dot, this will be what, get, right? So here I'm simply going to do verify email, and I'm going to do what actually we have done here. Okay, this will be, let me check the name, verify email, or what we've given, verify email handler. So I'll do verify email handler, and I think this is done. So now let's save this and let's see if this is working or not. But before that, we also need to do one very important thing, and that is what, so we need to go to the app.ts and we need to use that, right? So I'm just going to do app.use. So I'll use this auth URL, and then I'm going to pass the auth router, and also we need to export this. I'm going to do export default, I'll do router, right? Save this. So I'm going to just import this. I'm going to do let's import auth router from, so you'll go to the route /auth.routes, and you're going to use this. We'll do auth router. Save this. Let's see if there are any error. In case you need to see there is no error, which is okay. So first let's start. Okay, so what I'm going to do, right, I'll go to here. Now you see I already tested some of the things. Now what I'll do, I'll go to Postman. Let's do, maybe let's create a new blank collection, and I'm going to give this one name as maybe Node.js Auth 2025, something like that. And let's create a add request, close this. Okay, and first I'm going to make this one as post, and let me just copy from some other place. Okay, so I'll take a copy from here. I'm just going to copy this, paste it here. So I'll do 5000 /auth/register, go to body, go to raw, and here what are the things we need to pass. So we're going to pass a name. So I'm going to pass name as Sangam. Also we're going to pass the email. So I'll do see this, use this one, and I'm also going to use a password, and I'll do Sangam123. Okay, so now let's see what is happening. So I'll just send this one, invalid email address. Oh, we need to remove this. Send this. Let's see what is happening here. Fantastic. So now ID is created, email is created, email verified is false. So we'll go here, let's go here, let's see if we are getting, fantastic. So you're getting verify your email, but before that let me just quickly check if the data is getting stored or not. So we have browse collections. Alright, so we have the password has role, email verified false, and name is this, correct. Now I'll click here. I can see that please verify your email. We are getting something wrong. Function, why function is coming? Okay, something is going wrong here. Let's see what we are doing wrong. get app URL. See, this is the problem. So what do we need to do, right? What is the problem here? We need to call this method here. We need to call this here. Okay, so let's save this. This is not going to work. So what I'll do, right, I'm going to just delete this for now, and we'll try once again. Okay, let's go here. Okay, this is now done. So I'm going to send once again. Okay, this is created now. Okay, let's go here now. Let's see. Okay, so now this is fine. So you're getting this auth verify email token. Now see, if I click here, right, you can run this from Postman also. This is absolutely fine. But if I click here, let's see what is happening. Email is now verified. You can log in, and if you just refresh this here. Okay, let me refresh this. Now you can see email verified will be true. Fantastic. So that means this is working fine, right? So email verified is now true. And now what you can do, right? So now let me just copy this, create a new request, make this one as post, and I'm going to do this one as login, and I'll go here, copy this, paste it here, and let's give a wrong password first. Send this. So invalid password, and I'm also going to do correct password, but I'll give a different email. Invalid email or password, correct. And if I give correct email and password, try to send. So login is successfully done. This is the access token and all the information. Email verified is coming as true. Fantastic. That means the email verification with register and logic is now completed. Okay, so now we have the token. So what will be our next step? Now remember, we still have a lot of things to do. So first we'll implement the refresh handler, okay, logout handler, forget password handler, and reset password. So these four will be the next thing that we are going to implement. So let's do that in the next part. Alright everyone, so now let's create the refresh handler. Okay, so I'm just going to create one more function here. So I'll do export async function, and let's give this one as refresh handler. So once again it's going to receive the request and response, and here what we'll do, simply first we're going to take the try catch, and let's return the same thing. Okay, now inside try what we need to do. Okay, so if you go here, right, so and in the cookie we are actually storing the refresh token, right? So this refresh token actually we need. Okay, so now what you're going to do, right, simply, so here first of all I'm just going to do const token, and I'll do request dot cookies dot, and here we're going to get the name. So what is the name that you have given? That is, the name is refresh token, right? So we have the refresh token as string or undefined. So now if the token is not present, first of all, then in that case we are going to do what? Return. So I'll do res.status of 401 because it's unauthorized error. So I'll do here message, and let's do refresh token missing, something like that. If this is not the case, then we are going to do what? We are going to verify the token, and we are going to get the payload. Now I'm going to do const payload, and let's do verify refresh token, and you're going to pass this token that you're getting, right? But how we are going to verify? And now for that we are actually going to create one more method in our token. So I'm simply going to do here export function. So the name that we have given, verify refresh token, and then we are going to get the token which will be string. Simply you're going to return, so I'll do JWT dot verify, and here you're going to pass the token that you're going to receive, and you're going to check with our access secret, and then we are going to simply pass as, and let's do two things, right? So we have the user ID which is sub, and the token version number. So I'm going to do sub, type will be string, and then you have the token version, which will be number. That's it. So this is what actually we need. So now let's save this. So we'll go here. Now this method we are going to now call. So what we can do, right, simply here after this, once we get the payload back, now we are going to find the user by ID. But how we are going to get the ID? Now this payload is going to give you the sub, this sub. Okay, so you're going to do const, so to get user, so this user will be await user the model dot find one, and here you are going to pass the no, let's do direct, right? Find by ID we can do because we only have the ID, right? So you can simply pass here, and let's do payload dot, and we are going to do, we need to import this, so we'll do payload dot sub. All right, so this is going to give you the user. Now we are going to check if user is not present, so I'll do return res dot status of 401, and I'll do dot JSON, and we are going to do a message, and I'll do user not found. Then what we'll do, right, simply we are going to just do one small check, that if the user that we have in our DB, if this user token version that is stored is not equal to this payload dot token version, so you're going to again we'll just going to return a 401, and I'm simply going to do here refresh token invalidated. Then we are going to create a new access token. Okay, so I'll do const, I'll do new access token, and then you're going to call the new create access token, and you're going to pass the user dot ID, so this user, then you're going to pass the user dot role, and you're going to pass the user dot token version, three things, and then you'll do the same thing for new refresh token. So I'll do const new refresh token, and then you're going to do create refresh token, and you're going to pass the user dot ID and user dot token version. Now again we'll do the same thing, so we'll go here, I'll check this, and we can actually check do the same thing here. Copy this, and we'll pass it here. The only difference will be this will become the new refresh token. Okay, and then what we can do, simply we are going to return, we'll go here, copy this, and I'm simply going to return, and here I'm simply going to do that token refreshed, so I'll do token refreshed, this will become new access token. Now let's return access token, which will become the new access token. That's it, and I think this is done, right? So now let's save this. So we'll go here, and let's do here router, so we just have to create one more. So for refresh it will be a post, so we are going to simply take /refresh, and you are going to pass the refresh handler. Save this, and I think this is done. Let's see if there are any error. Okay, there is no error. Now this is all about the refresh token strategy or refresh handler that you need. Now we are going to create one more, that will be logout. Now logout will be very simple, right? So what you just have to do, so in the logout you just have to clear the cookie that you stored, right, refresh token. And so I'll just simply show you how you are going to do that. So it's very simple. So I'll do export function, and we'll do logout handler. Okay, so here I'm going to take a request, which will be request, response, which will be a response, and what you do, right, you just do response dot, it's going to give you this clear cookie method, and here you're going to pass the cookie that you have saved, which is refresh token, and you're going to pass a path. So here I'm going to do this /, and now what you can do, right, simply you're going to return res dot status of 200 dot JSON, and you're going to do message, and I'll do logged out. That's it. Now we'll go here and then just simply call this. We'll do router.post, and this will become logout, and we'll call the logout handler. Okay, so I think this is done. So now let's go here, and what we can do, right, simply I'm going to simply log in once. So I'm going to get the token. So let's copy this, and I'm going to do post. And now what I'll do, right, simply, so let's start with first refresh. Okay, so refresh will be post. Now let's send this. So you can see that we are already getting token refreshed. Why? Because if you go to headers, you see already we have the refresh token that is stored. So this will give you a new access token, and the token will be refreshed. And if you just go here, right, you see these both the tokens are different. And for logout, I think you can just directly do this, right? So if I go here and then just call logout post, and then just send this, so this will be logged out. And logged out we are writing, right? Let me just check. Logged out, or you can do logged out successfully, and I think that's it. So this will be the refresh token and the logout strategy. Very simple. Now remember one thing, very important, right, that you're doing in the backend. This is the backend logic, right? When you're going to do in the front end side, after logout, you need to do a couple of things. I'm just giving some example. Let's say you are already logged in from the front end side, and now you're clicking on logout button. So from backend, you're going to call this handler, which is fine. It's going to clear the refresh token, but you also need to navigate or redirect that user out of the application. I hope you're getting what I mean. So those kind of things you need to do. So what I'll suggest, right, instead we are doing backend tutorial for this, which is fine. I already have multiple videos on front end also. You can create some small front end UI, and then you can just call all these APIs and try to experiment, and you'll see whether you are able to do it or not. So with this part is now completed. Now let's move to the next one. Next one, we're going to do the forget password and the reset password. Now both are very important. Alright everyone, so now we are going to start with two more very important concepts, that is forgot password and reset password. So first, let's create one more function here. Okay, so I'll do export async function, and let's do this one as forgot password handler. Okay, so we're going to get the request response. So now here, first of all, you need to understand and do this one very carefully, that so that you'll understand the flow, how you're going to do the do a forgot password, right? So first of all, whenever you're going to do forgot password, you'll see that in all the website, what will happen, they will ask for the email, so that they can send you a email verification link. Once you click on that verification link, then you'll be go to a form where you can actually give what, the new password, and then only your password will be changed, right? So this is the first thing. So that means from our request body, what actually we need, so I'm simply going to do request.body as, and here I'm going to do email will be string, and here we're going to get the email. So this is the first thing. If email is not present, so that means we're going to return a 400 and .json, and I'm going to do message, and I'll do email is required. So now after this, let's do, so I'm going to do normalized email. So I'm going to just copy this, and let's just use the same here. So now after this, I'm going to take a try catch, and let's use this. Okay, and inside try, first of all, we're going to once again the same thing. We're going to find the user. So I'll do await user dot find one, and here what we're going to do, simply we're going to do email, and email will be this normalized email. If user is not present, so if not equal to user, So what I can do, right, now here one very interesting thing what you can do, right, so simply we'll do return res.json, and you see this is actually tricky. I'm going to return a message and I'll do if, see what is that, if is okay, if an account with this email exists, we will send you a reset link, something like that. So that what will happen, right, the user that actually doing the forgot password, he doesn't know that whether this user with this email exists or not. And this is for what? For security reason, right? Because that user have bad intention also, right? Whether that user want to know that whether this particular user with this email is exist in this DB or not. So will not tell him that if that user is actually exist or not. This is the trick here. Now what I'm going to do, right, so first I'm going to create a random token. So I'm just going to do a const raw token. So I need crypto, so let me just import crypto first. Okay, go to the top and I'll just import crypto from crypto module, right? So this is the inbuilt module, and then what I'll do, right, so here I'll do crypto dot, so this is going to give this random bytes. So let's give a 32, and I'm going to do a to string, and I'm going to do this one to hex. Okay, so now after this what I'll do, right, so first here I will just create one token hash, and I'll do crypto dot create hash, and here I'm going to give this one as SHA 256. So this is the algorithm that we are going to use, and then I'm going to do update, and then we are going to pass this raw token that we have created, and I'm going to do a digest of in hex. That's it. So now this is going to create a token hash. Now what we're going to do, right, first of all we're going to set all the reset fields on the user document. So what I mean by that, so if you remember in this we have a reset password token, this one. Now this reset password token now will become this token hash. Okay, and also we have one more property, that is reset password token expires. Very important, extremely important. Why? Because whenever someone will ask for, where I forgot my password, I want to reset, you have to give a reset password and try to give this one always what? Less, means 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like that. So I'll do new date of date dot now, and here what I'll do, right, I'll do plus 15 into 60 into 1000. Okay, oh, I am doing wrong, man. This will be inside this. Yeah, so this will be 15 minutes. I think this is correct only, right? So now once this is done, now I'm going to do await user.save. So I'm going to save in these two things, and also remember the type, the time when it is expires. So this expires in 15 minutes. So once I'm going to save this, then what I will do simply is I'm going to create a reset URL, and this will be, so I'm going to get the get app URL, and I'm going to give this one as /auth and /reset password. Okay, and here you are going to pass the token. So what will be the token? Token will be the raw token that you have created, this token. So whenever user will receive the email and they will click on this, they are going to go to this page, reset password page. And now I'm going to do what? I'm going to do a send email. So I'm going to send the email, and send email is going to receive a couple of things, right? It's going to receive to the subject and the HTML. So to will be what? So to will be this user.email, because this is the user that is asking for the reset password link. So I'll do user.email. Then I'm going to do something like reset your password, and then maybe I'll just pass a template literals, and I'll do p, and I'll do you requested, something like you requested password reset. Click on the below link to reset the password. and here I will do the again same thing. So I will do p and I will do anchor, and what we can pass, simply we are going to pass the reset URL, and also we are going to give a href, and this will be what, the reset URL. Okay, so this reset URL we are using, and then at the end what we can do, I'm going to copy this and I'm simply going to return a response, and I'll do if an account with this email exists, will send. I think this is fine. So now let's save this. I think this should work. So now what do we need to do first? Now remember, we also need to create one more, which is reset password, but that is fine. First I'm going to see if this email sending is working or not, because the email we are going to send. So go to the auth routes, copy this, paste it here, and I'm going to do forgot password, and here we are going to pass forgot password handler. Save this. So now first of all what we are going to do, simply, so we'll go here and let's copy this. So I'm going to do this on a / forgot password. Okay, and now first I'm going to send, email is needed, and I'll go here and I'll give my email this, and then I'm going to send. Okay, so if an account with this email exists, we'll recently reset link and see you are getting an email here, reset your password. And now you can see, you can click on this. Now remember, if I click here, this route is not present now. Recent password we haven't created. So if you click here, right, you'll see you're getting cannot get. Why? Because we have to create, but the forgot password is working. That means you are getting an email verification link here, right? So now what we're going to do, simply we'll go here and then we'll be creating one more method here, which is going to now actually going to reset the password. So let's do that in the next part. Alright, so now let's create the reset password handler. So I'm going to create one more function here. So I'll do function and let's do reset password handler. So here I'm going to get the request as usual and the response. Okay, the first thing, we are going to get two things from our request body. So one will be the token, which will be string, and also I'm going to get the password, the new password that we want to change. So now here what I'll do, simply is I'm going to take the token and the password. Now the first thing, I will check that if the token is not present, so we are simply going to return an error that reset token is missing, and you are going to return res.status of 400.json, and you are going to pass a message that reset token is missing. Alright, so after this also you can give like one more message here, right, that password if not equal to password, or if password dot length, if this is greater than less than 6, so you are going to return one more error. So password must be 6 characters long, at least 6 characters long. So once this is done, so now we are going to take a try catch. Okay, and then just copy this, paste it here, and inside try, first what we are going to do, right, the token that we are getting, this token that we are going to receive, we are going to create a hash. So I'm just going to do const token hash. So this will be crypto.create hash, and here we are going to pass the algorithm, which will be SHA256. Then I'm just going to do what, so we're going to pass the token, which will be update token, and then I'm going to do a digest, and then we're going to pass X. So now how we are going to actually find the user that actually matching this token and also that is non-expired. Now remember, while doing the forgot password, I have actually set both these user.resetPassword token and user.resetPassword expert. So these things we need now. Right now, remember, we also have the expires as 15 minutes. So after that, if any user is trying, so it's not going to work. So first I'm going to do const user, and this user will be await. So I'll do user dot find one, and here what you're going to pass. So first you're going to pass the reset password token. This is very important, and these reset password tokens should match with this token hash that we have, because anyway these token hash we are creating from the token that we are actually passing from the body. And next I'm also going to do what? So I'll do reset password expires, and this should be greater than current date, right? Because if, let's say, how to explain, let's say you are clicking on the forget password now and the expire will be 15 minutes. So whenever you will be clicking, these value should be what? Greater than the value, the current time that you are having now. So it should be always 15 minutes. Sometimes it will be greater, right? So this is one very important point that you need to understand. So basically, okay, maybe I'm just give some wrong terms, so I'll just write here. So this is simply telling that expiry must be in future. I think this will be better to explain. Expiry must be in future, right? Now once this is done, first you have to give a check that if this user is not present, so we are going to simply do invalid or expired token or whatever, right? So here I'm just going to do invalid or expired token. Now after this, if this is not the case, then I'm going to create a new password hash. Okay, so new password hash will be await, and then I'm going to call the hash password method, and this hash password method is going to receive the password. Now what will be this password? This password is nothing but the new password now you want to set. Okay, so this password you are going to pass, and then you are going to simply do user.password hash. So you have to save this, which will become now new password hash. Okay, and then very important, you need to clear the reset fields. So what I'll do user.resetPassword token, and this will become undefined, and also I'm going to do user.resetPassword expires. This will become also undefined. All right. Okay, so now I think there is some problem with my my machine only, it's getting little slow. So, and here we are going to increase now the token version. Very important. Why? Because we are going to do what? We are going to invalidate all the existing refresh token that we already have. So you need to actually increase this. So what you're going to do, you'll do user.token version, and you'll do +1. So you're going to bump with one version. So if it is 0, it will become 1, 1 it will become 2, something like that. And you'll do user.save. So you're going to save all this information, the new ones, and at the end you're going to return JSON. And now I'm simply going to do message, and let's do password reset successfully. Okay, so I think this is done. So now let's save this, and now what we need to do, right? Remember, we also need to add these where in our route. So we'll go to our route, and then I'm going to create one more, and this will become now reset password, and this will be reset password handler. Save this. Now what I'll do, right, I'm going to do each and everything one more time, right? So let's go here, start with the register. So I'm just going to do here John, and I'm simply going to do john@gmail.com. and what I'll do, right, simply let's do John123. So I'm going to send the request. So user is now saved, and let's go here. Let's see if you are getting the message or not, sorry, the email or not. Okay, verify your email, and then I'm going to just click here. So now email is now verified for this user. So I'll just copy this, go to login. Sorry, we have to go to login, and then I'll go to body, I'll change this one to john@gmail.com, and I'll do john123, and then I'm going to send. So I'll be getting this, right, which is correct. Then what I'll do, right, first I'm going to go to the forget password. So I'm going to close this now. Okay, let's go to the Node.js auth that we have created, right? For now I'll cancel this one. Okay, let's go to the forget password, this one. So now I'll just do john@gmail.com. I'm going to send. Okay, so now we'll go here. So we'll be getting this. Now let's do one thing. We are going to get the token. So first I'll go here and copy this, create one more, and I'll do this one as post, pass this, and this will become reset, and go to body, and let's pass the token, and here I'll do use this token, and then also we are going to pass the password. So I'll just do this one as john12345. okay, instead of john123 I'll become john this will become john12345. now I'm going to send. Password reset is now successful. And now if I go to the login, right, so let's go to the login and try to log in with this again, see what will happen. Save this, invalid password. Fantastic. So that means now this is working fine. So I'll do I'll do john12345, send this, and you can see that this is now working fine. So that means with this we have now completed the register, login, verify email, refresh, logout, forgot password, reset password. Now before we move further, what we need to do right now, it's time to understand the concept of middleware, how we are going to implement authentication. We have already done authorization. So what I mean by authorization, so let's do that in the next part. Now I'm going to keep the next part simpler, but yet I'm going to explain it very clearly so that any kind of authorization will be able to handle. So don't skip the next part, it's very important. Alright everyone, so now it's time to understand the authorization techniques, right, or basically how we are going to manage roles. So till now you can see that we already have two roles, one is for user and one is for admin. What I'll do, right, first we'll go here, refresh this, and you'll see that we'll be getting two users for now. So I'm going to manually change one of the user to admin, which is absolutely fine, you can do that. So we'll go to the DB, and then for this particular user I'm going to make this one to admin, role will be admin, and then I'm going to update the user. Okay, so now if I just go here, right, so I'm going to copy this and go here, let's change this one to my email, and I'm going to do sangam123, and if I now send this, right, so nothing will change, only change will be role will become admin. Now see, what is the concept of authorization? Authorization is nothing but it's like giving a extra protection to your application. So now let's say you are having three kind of people are coming to your website visit. First one is not logged in. So that means that user will not be able to access anything, right? First, that user needs to log in. Second user is already logged in, but that user is a normal user. And third user is also already logged in, but that user is a admin user. So now you are having multiple pages, right? So let's say you're having 5 pages. One of the pages you want only admin to be admin can access that particular page basically. So that means what? Whenever as let's say I am a normal user, I'm trying to access that page. So what I'll be getting? I'll be getting a restriction, right? I won't be able to access the page until unless I'll become an admin. So that means only admin can access certain pages. So that is the concept here. So this is like you are giving an extra check. Okay, this person can go there. This person only can go till this part, not to the end. And this person can't even start because this person is not logged in. So how we are going to do that? Now I'm going to keep the concepts simpler, but yet we are going to implement the core concept so that you're not going to forget anything at all whenever you're going to do, because this is very important. Whenever you'll be creating any kind of application, you have to implement the role-based authentication, right, or authorization. So first, here we have the concept of middleware. So middleware is nothing but middleware. The concept of middleware is, in very simplest way, the explanation will be, it's like a security, right? So you have a room and there is a security outside. So what this security is doing, that okay, you will check your ID card and you'll see that okay, this user is a admin user. Oh, you can go to the at the top. Then another person come, okay, he will check that okay, this is a normal user but he is logged in. So that means he will say that oh, now you can go till 5th floor but you can't go above, it's only for admin. And that is third user, that guy also has the ID card but that guy don't have any approval to go inside, means that guy is not logged in. So then the security guard will tell that oh, you can't go enter until unless you get the permission. So this is what middleware is going to do. So it's going to give you the restriction that okay, you want to go there or you want to go there or you can't even go. So here first what I'm going to do, right, first I'm going to create a require auth .ts, very important concept, don't skip this, right? So I'm just going to close everything. Now I'm going to create a small function here. So I'm going to do async function and I'm going to do this one as require auth. So this is going to receive the request from express, response from response, and now this time this is going to receive the next middleware. Next middleware is nothing but once the security check is done, now you can go enter the building. So this building is basically the next step. So here this is the next function. Okay, so first thing what we are going to do, so how we are going to understand that if the user is actually authenticated or not. That means if the user is at least allowed to go inside building or not. It doesn't matter whether he can go till 5th floor or he can go till the top, that will come later, right? So that this is where we're going to get the token. Now this token is very important. This is where this, based on this token, because these token actually hold all the information that you need to understand that okay, this user is actually Sangam Mukherjee. If the token is different, okay, you'll understand, oh, this user is John or this user is Suvas, something like that, XYZ. It can be any user, right? So first I'm going to get the auth header, and this from where you're going to get, so you're going to get from request.headers.authorization. Okay, so this is where you're going to do a basic check that oh, if this auth header is not present, or if this auth header dot, if this is not starts with bearer, because we are going to pass a bearer token and space, because this will be the format. Actually I've explained all of this in very detail in my Node.js part 1 video also. So what you're going to do, right, you're going to pass the res.status of 401.json, and you're going to pass simply a message that oh, you are not authenticated, so you can't even enter. So you are not authenticated, you're not auth user. So I'm just going to give you can enter, you can't enter the building. I'm going to give this one as building so that you can understand, right? If you're completely beginner, you'll see what is happening here. Now what will happen, right, the format will be like this. So you have bearer and then you're going to have the token. So you have v, y, b, z, blah blah, and you see there will be space in between. Okay, now based on this space, what I can do, you can split it and then you can take the right side, so that will get the token. So now what I'll do, right, simply I'm going to get the tokens. I'm going to do const token, and you'll do auth header dot split, and you're going to split with a space and then take the right side. Right side means the first element, left side will be the 0th element, because we're splitting with empty. Once this is done, then we're going to take the try catch. Okay, and inside try what I will do, simply I'm going to take a const payload, and let's do one thing. We have to actually create one more method here. So I'm going to do maybe let's do a verify access token. We have the create access token, so we need to verify. So I'm just going to do export function, and I'm going to do verify access token, and here what you're going to pass, we're going to get the token, and then you're going to simply return. So do JWT dot verify. So you're going to verify with what token, and this token is going to have all this information. Sub role, from this role you're going to understand whether this is a normal user or admin user, and the token version. So you're going to pass the token, and you're going to check with this process.env.jwt access secret, and you're going to pass here as, so I'm going to give, this will be having a sub which will be string. It's going to have a role which will be either user or it will be admin, and also it's going to have the token version, which will be number. Okay, so this verify access token now we want to use. So I'm going to get this verify access token, and you're going to pass this token here. So this is now is going to give you the payload. Okay, so now what we are going to do, simply we are going to simply now get the user. So I'll do const user, and this will be await, and I'll do user dot. Now this user will be, we are going to get the user from the we already have the user, is it? We already have the user from model, and I'm simply going to do find by ID, and I'm going to pass this payload dot, and this will give you the sub. Okay, so sub is nothing but the ID, and now we are simply going to check if this user is not found, means what? User is a unauthenticated user. So I'm going to simply copy this, paste it here, and then I'm doing user not found. User not found, you can't enter the building. So user not found. Okay, so I think this is done. Now once this is done, now what we are going to do, simply we're going to check the token version for invalidation logic. So I'm simply going to just give a check here. If the user dot token version is not equal to payload dot token version, so I'm just going to give one more 401 token invalidated. Save this, and then after this what I'll do, simply we're going to attach a small user object on our request, in this request. Okay, so that whenever we are going to need this information later, we will be able to get the information from request. So for now what I'll do, right, I'm simply going to const auth request, and I'll do request as any, and then I'm simply going to do auth request, and then I'll simply add a user, and I'll do ID. So ID will become what? The user dot ID, this user that we are getting from our DB. Then we are going to pass the email. Email will become the user dot email. We have the name, which will become the user dot name. Get the role, which will be user dot role, and also I'm going to get one more, is email verified, which will be user dot is email verified. That's it. And now what we need to do, right, till this part, this is completed. Now remember, whenever you are going to call, so I already told, right, so you are the person here, and then in between you have the security, and then after that you are going to enter the building 2, then we'll be going building 3 and 4. So till this part, if this is done, you're not going to end the process. Why? Because you need to call the you need to go to second step, then from second step you need to go to the third step. Means what? Means what I mean by that, now once till this part, if this is done, then we are going to call the next method. Now here it is called the next function, or next middleware we are going to call, or the route handler, but I'm explaining in a simpler way. So we're going to call the next function, so that once the security pass is completed, it will go to the second step. So how you're going to do that? You're going to simply call that next function, you're going to call it, right? So it's going to call the next middleware, or if there is any next route handler, it's going to do that. Now I'm going to simply copy this, and I'm just going to return for not one, and I'll do invalid token, something like that, invalid token. So this will be our first middleware that we need, and I'm simply going to do export default, and I'll do require auth. Okay, so I think this is done. So what will be the next step? So now, so let's start with first route, which will be the user route. So for now I'm not going to create any controller, because it will be very simple. The main idea is to understand this concept. So now if I go to the routes, and I'm going to create a user dot routes dot ts, and now let's say first I'm going to get the router from Express. So I'm going to get the router, and I will simply going to do const router equal to router, and I'll simply do router dot get, and I'll do /me, and then here what I'll do, right? So now I'm going to do request, which will become request, and then response, which will become the response. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, right, simply inside these here, first I'm going to get my auth request. Now how I'm going to get the auth request? Now here, remember in this, if I go here, right, here we are actually storing this auth request dot user. So means user information is already present, but how I'm going to get that? Now this is where you're going to call this the middleware. So that means you're giving an extra check. But how you can do that? If you hover on this get request, right, you can see here what you can do, right, simply this is your path and this is the handlers. Now handlers is basically here you can pass, and you can see all these properties and everything. You can pass multiple handlers or multiple middleware. Now if I give here that, okay, security check 1, then security check 2. So what I mean by this, once you will complete the security check 1, if this is correct, then only you can go here. If this is correct, then only this route handler will run. If any of this security check fails, it will fail immediately. Okay, this is the work of middleware. This is where we are actually giving a check that if the user is authenticated, then only we are going to get this. And to do this, what we need to do, we are going to call this require auth method, and then we are going to just pass it here. So I'm going to do require auth. So simply what you're telling that, oh, now I'm calling a middleware. If this required auth is correct, then only we will go here, something like that. So this required auth is now storing this request object of user. So now what I'll do, for now I'm just going to do here request as any, and I'm simply going to do const auth user, and this will be auth request dot user. And what I'll do, right, simply for now just do response.json, and I'm going to pass the user, which will be this auth user. Okay, save this, and I'm going to do export default router, and I'll go to app.ts, and now I'm going to use this. So I'm going to copy this, and I'll do user router, and then I'm going to import this from my user router file, and then just use it here, right? So I'm going to just pass it, and you'll do user, and you're going to pass the user router. Okay, now let's save this, see if there are any error or anything. I don't think there should be any error. No error. Now I'll go here. First I am going to again log in. Okay, so I'll do login. So getting this token, now I'm going to just create let's do duplicate request. So I'm going to do this one as get, right? Remove this, and then I'm going to do /auth, not auth. We need to do /user. Okay, you go here. So /user /me. Okay, and now I'm going to send this. So you can see that you are not a auth user, you can't enter the building, which is correct. Why? Because we are actually not sending the bearer token here. So we need to pass here. So I'm going to pass, let's add a key. So I'm going to do authorization, and I'm going to do a bearer, and here we are going to pass. So let me just copy the token. So I'm going to copy this token from here. Okay, and I'm going to just pass it here. That's it. And now let's send this, and you can see that you are getting the information that, oh, this is the user, which user Sangam Mukherjee, role is admin, email verified is true. Okay, if you're going to change anything right here, let's see what is happening. Just change something here, and let's send this invalid token. So that means this is working fine. So this is where the concept of the, see, this is not the point of the understanding part is how this is working, that why actually we need middleware and how you're going to use that middleware here. This is the important part that you need to understand. And you can use multiple, right? I already told you this is one security check. You can have 20 security check also, and every time this first one will pass, then only it will go to second one will pass, go to third one will fail, it will never go to the next one, it is going to fail there. So this is what is the idea of doing this middleware condition. But now still there is one more thing we need to understand, authorization, right? For example, let's say I have a particular route which is /admin. Now this route only admin can access, this user can't access. So this we are going to do in the next part. Alright, so now we'll see that how we are going to restrict any user based on role. So in the middleware I'm going to create one more. So let's give this one as require role.ts. Okay, so now that means certain routes only admin can access, right? So that restriction we need to do. Now remember, it's not about the user or admin. You can have multiple roles also. For example, let's say you can have vendor, right? So for vendor specific pages, only vendor can access. So first I'm going to create a function. So I'll do function and let's give this one as require role. So here I'm just going to, so this is going to first of all receive a role as an input, which will be user or it will be admin. Okay. And here what we are going to do, it's going to return. So I'm going to take the request, then we are going to have the response. Okay, I also need to import the request from, and we are going to need the next function. So I'll do next function. Okay, and here first of all I'm going to get the auth request. So I'll do auth request, do request, and then I'm going to get the auth user. So I'll do auth user. So this will be auth request dot user. And now first of all we are going to check if this auth user is not present. So that means this user is an unauthenticated user. So I'm just going to pass this. Let's do this only. Okay. Also now you're going to check based on role, means if that user has certain role or not, then only that user will be able to access that route. So how you're going to check that? So I'm going to do if auth user dot role, if this is not equal to the role that we are getting here, so that means this user don't have access. So what are you going to do? You're going to return a 403 error. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to do okay 403. Now you don't have the correct role, you don't have correct role to access this route, something like that. Okay, if this is also not the case, that means user has the correct role. So you're going to continue. So continue means we're going to call the next middleware. That's it. So now let's save this. So how we are going to do that? So for to do this one, I'm going to go to routes, and then let's create one more routes and admin.routes.ts. Okay, so now I will first, let me just copy this till this part. Okay, so we have the router. So now what I'll do, right, I'm going to create a router.get, and this is going to fetch all the list of users. Now to see all the list of users, only admin can see. Now you will not give this kind of authorization to normal user, right, so that he can get other user information. Only one person maybe who is super admin, they can only see this. So now here that means we need to give two check. Okay, so first I'm going to take the route handler. So I'm going to take the request, which will be request, and then I'm going to have the response, which will be response. And here what I'm going to do simply, so inside this we're going to have the try and catch. Till this part this is fine, but how we are going to give multiple middleware here? I already told you the concept, security 1, security 2, something like that, right? So now what are you going to do simply, so first check will be to check if the user is a auth user or not. If user is a auth user, then you're going to check if the user is a normal user or it's a admin user. So this will be two check. So now to do this two check, first we're going to call the require auth middleware. So we're going to call the require auth. So this is the first check. Okay, so you can now enter. Then we're going to check require role. Okay, so require role is going to now tell you that okay, if the user is admin user or not. So I'm going to take require role. I think we need to export this. I think we haven't exported. Okay, so I'm going to do export default. I'll do require role. So we are going to take the required role, and this is going to receive what? It's going to receive either the role is a user or admin. So for this particular route, I will tell that okay, this route only admin can access. Normal user can't access. So I'm going to simply pass admin here. So that means now this chain will understand that okay, first once any user will visit, first check if the user is authenticated, yes, then go here. If the user has a role of admin, yes, then only it can come. If user is a normal user, it's going to fail here, and if the user is not even authenticated, then it will even fail here. It will never go here. I hope you're getting. So now what you're going to do simply, so inside this first I'm going to get all the users. So I'll do users, and I'll do await, and I'll do user dot find, and here what are you going to pass, right? Simply, so this is just a Mongo query that I'm writing. So I'm going to do email as 1, then let's do role as also 1, and maybe I'll do is email verified. This also I'm going to do 1, and I'm also going to do, let's say, created at, and this will be 1. And after this I'll just do a sort, and here I'm just going to do created at -1. Okay, so new one will come first. Once this is done, then we're going to create a map. So I'll do const result, so we'll do users dot map, and then we are going to return. So I'll do id, so id will be u dot id, then we're going to return email, which will be u dot email, then we can return role, which will be u dot role, and also what else, this also you can return is email verified, which will be u dot is email verified, and also created at. So once this is done, then we are going to return res.json. I'm going to do users, and this will be my result. Let's do result here. That's it. And for this it will just return a 500. So I'll just go here, maybe let's copy this. So I'm going to log the error and paste it here. Save this, and I think this is done. So now the important part, this one we need to check. So now I'll go to the app.ts, copy this, paste it here, and I'm going to do admin router, and this we are going to get from admin routes, and we're going to just pass it here. Sorry. So this will be admin, and this will become admin router. Alright, so I think this is done. Oh, we need to export. Sorry. We need to export this here. So we'll do export default router. Okay, so now I think this is done. So let's go here. First I'll go to login, and I'll log in with John account. Okay, and let's log in. So get the token. This is a user. Now I'm going to just copy this, create one more request. So this will become now admin / users, and this will be get, right? And then what I'll do, right, I'm going to just send here. So that means you are not auth user, which is correct, you can't enter the building. I'll go to headers, and I'm going to add a authorization, and I'm going to add a bearer, and then I'm going to paste it here. Oh sorry, I need to get the token. Okay, and then I'm going to send. See, so you don't have correct role to access this route because this is a normal user, right? You can't access if you're a normal user. If you're admin, then only you can access. But if I just log with my account, and I'll give Sangam 123, send this, get the token. Now copy this token, go here, and then just replace this token, right? So I'm going to just replace this token with my admin token, and now I'm going to send this. Fantastic. So you're getting the users now. right? So this is, again, this is not the point here. The point is you need to understand how this is working, right? Here, where is that part? This part is working here. This is the important part here. So with this is how you're going to handle role, you're going to handle authorization and authentication. So now let's move on to the next one. Alright, so now before we will go to Google authentication, I think many of you are waiting for this. So here, first of all, you need to take some of the credentials that you need. Okay, now first you need the Google client ID, client secret, and Google redirect URI, which we are going to use this HTTP localhost 5000 for now /auth/google/callback. You can take a screenshot also, but these two I'm going to show you that how you are going to get it if you are doing for the first time. So to go to this Google Cloud Console, click on this, right, and then you have to go to this console. Go here and you'll see that you'll be seeing so many projects. Now definitely I can actually use any of the previous project, but let me just quickly create one. So I'm going to do just new project, and here what I'll do, simply I'm going to do Node.js Auth, okay, and then I'm going to do create. Invalid characters, I'll do Node.js Auth, create, and once this is done, right, we can switch. So let's wait. So now select project, so it will now choose the Node.js Auth, go to API and services, okay, and then what you need to do, you need to go to the credentials, then you have to first, let's do one thing. First, always configure the consent screen. So click here. If you're not getting, you can also click from the left side. So to get started, okay, so let's give any name here, maybe test. I'll give my email, I'll do next. Available to end user, let's give external, next. This will be my email, give your email here, next, agree, continue, and create. Okay, this is now configured. Once this is configured, now go to the we can create auth client from here also. So first of all, what I'll do, right, click on web application and give web client 1 or whatever you want to give. So here you have to give the authorized JavaScript origins. Now this is basically the request from your browser. Now what you can do, right, you can just give here HTTP localhost 3000, and the redirect URI, here you have to give this localhost 5000, because if you're using something else, some other port, you have to change based on that. So I'm going to just copy this from here, paste it. So this, and here what you have to do, so let's copy this and let's make this one to 3000, and then what I'll do, simply do create. Okay, so now here what will happen, right, you'll be getting the client ID and the client secret, which I'm going to just blur here, but don't share this client ID or secret with anyone. This is important. Just copy this client ID and the client secret, and then you are done, right? So you will be able to copy. So for now what I'll do, right, I'll just copy paste these two. I'll add all three these envs in my env folder, env file in the code, and then we are going to start. So this will be the whole process for the setup. Alright, so now we are going to start working on the Google authentication. I hope you guys actually copy pasted these three things in your env, Google client ID, client secret, and the redirect URI, right? So I already showed how you are going to get from your Google Cloud Console. So first thing what we'll do, right, again we will start with this auth controller. Now if you want, you can also create another controller which will be like Google controller, but let's keep it in one file only. So first I'll go to the top. So let's go at the top, and after this get app URL, I'm going to create one more function here. Okay, so I'll do function, and let's do get Google client. Okay, And also before that we need to install the package. So which package we are going to use? We are going to use this Google Auth library. So let's install this. So first I'll go here and let's do npm install Google Auth library. I think this is correct, right? Okay, so let's install this one because this is what we need to create the client, to do the redirection, to handle the callback and everything. So this is done. Okay, the first thing what we'll do right here inside this, so first we're going to get the client ID. So I'll do client ID and let's do process.env dot and let's copy this Google client ID. Now again I'm repeating once again, you need to have all this. If you don't have, it's not going to work. Then we are going to have the client secret. So this will be process.env dot Google client secret. So copy this. Okay, and then what we'll do, right, we need a redirect URI. Why we need a redirect URI? Because whenever we will let's say you think of a front end, right? So you're having a front end. Whenever you'll click on Google login, what will happen? It will redirect to the Google login page. Then you're going to select your account, that which account you want to log in. So we'll click your Google account and then again it will redirect back to a callback URL. So it's going to do the authentication and based on that it will again redirect back to your home page of your application. But here we don't have any front end, it's completely back end. Still we need the redirect URI here, right? So I'm just going to take redirect URI and now what I'll do, right, simply I'll use this process.env dot and let's use this Google redirect URI. Now remember I already copy pasted all this in my env file. So these three things. Now always give a small check that if the client ID or if the client secret both are not present, so in that case just throw a new error, okay, that Google client ID and secret both are missing. Alright, so I think this is done. After this what we are going to do, simply we will return a new auth client. So I'm just going to do new and here we need the auth2 client. Also we need to import this one from our that package that we have installed. So I'm going to do from and let's do Google Auth library and we need the auth2 client and let's take this auth2 client. So what are the things that we need here? We need the client ID here, okay, so we're going to pass the client ID, then we need the client secret and also we're going to need the redirect URI. These three things, and these three things we already have. So this is going to create auth client because this is definitely we need. Now what we can do, right, we need to create two functions, one which will start the authentication, one which will handle the callback. I already told you, right, that when you're going to start the authentication, what will happen, it will redirect the user to the Google login page, and once you click on that account, let's say you have two Google account, you click on a particular account, it will go back to the callback page and it's going to check if the user is authenticated or not. Means, so practically we need two methods. So first one will be, so let's create export async function and let's give this one name as Google Auth start handler. Okay, so this will be the first one. No, I think let's keep it like this. Now here what I need, so first we're going to take the request, which will be request, and we need the response, which will be response, and inside this we're going to take a try catch and just do the same thing, and I'm going to log the error. And here what we need, right, first we need to create the Google client. That is the first thing. So I'm going to do client and then you just do get Google client. So this method just now we have created, right? Now we are going to create a scope. Scope is nothing but we are going to tell Google that what are the infos that we want once the login is successful. So here I'm going to create a const and I'll do URL, and here we are going to do client, and this is going to give you this generate auth URL. Okay, and here what you're going to pass, right, you're going to pass access type, and I'm going to do this one as offline. Then we are going to do a prompt. So I'm going to do this one as consent, and at the end we are going to add a scope that, okay, I need this, I need the open ID, I need the email of that user, and also I need the profile, these three things. Now once this is done, so this is going to create the URL, and what you'll do, right, simply you're going to return. Now remember, one thing is very important I want to mention. We don't have any front end, so here we have two options. Either we can directly redirect the user to the Google login page, which is absolutely fine, but if you want to test from Postman, what you need to write, you need to return the URL as a JSON. But here what I'll do, right, I'm going to take response and I'm going to just redirect this user to this particular URL. Simple. Okay, I hope this is clear. So now let's save this and see what will happen, right? So what we're going to do, right, we need to create two routes here. So one will be for the start of that authentication, and one will be when we're going to handle the callback. So first we'll go to our auth routes, and then let's copy these. And here what we are going to do, right, simply I'm going to do Google, so this will be get, and here what I'm going to do, right, so it will go to this URL, and now here we are going to use that Google auth start handler. So now let's save these, and let's see if there are any error or not. I don't think there are any error. Okay, so now let's go here. I'm going to copy this. Okay, so I'll go here and then just paste it, and then you'll do /Google, sorry, /auth/Google. We need to do /auth/Google, and you can see there it is going to this page. So I'm having these two URL. So now that means what we need to do, we need to handle the callback. So now I'll go here, and now let me just minimize this, and then we are going to create one more method here which is going to handle the callback. So what I'll do, simply I'll create, now this is the important part, because this is where we are going to actually save the user to database and everything, right? So I'll do Google auth, and I'll do callback handler, and here we are going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to take the request and response, and then what we're going to do, simply inside this, first we are going to get the code. So what will happen, right, Google is going to send a code. So now first I'm going to get the code, and if the code is missing in the callback, that means this is wrong, you will not be able to authenticate the user. So first I'm going to do const code, and I'll do request.query.code, and let's do this one as string and undefined. So first I'm going to check if this code is missing. So that means we are going to return arrays.status of 400.json, and you're going to simply tell that message that missing code in callback. If the code is present, then we are going to take the try and catch. So let me just copy this, and inside this, what we'll do first, again we'll create the client. So I'll do client, and this will be get Google client, and here what I'll do first, so first we are going to get the token from that code, which actually includes the ID token. So here what I'll do, right, simply I'm just going to do await, and this client is going to give you this get token method, and here you're going to pass that code, and these actually will give you the tokens. Okay, now I'm not going to do anything here. First let's log all of this in case you are getting confused. I'll just log here, sorry, so I'll log the tokens and I'll log the code, and I just wanted to show that what is happening here. So let's save this, and also, sorry, we need to go here and we need to create one more route. So first I'm going to go here, and so this will be get, and let's give this one /Google/callback, and this will be Google auth callback handler. Okay, now save this. Now I'll copy this, so paste it here, /auth/Google. So it will go here. Now see what will happen. So I'm going to select this, so we'll do continue. Now here nothing will happen for now because we need to redirect the user, and also first you will check this. So you'll see that you are getting this code, okay, and this is where you'll be getting the ID token. This is the token I mentioned, this is the token type, this is the scope, right, and also you are getting the refresh token. Now access token, everything will be getting here. So now what we need to do, simply we'll go here, and then we need to do quite a few things. Okay, so what will be the first thing? Now I already told you every time that whenever you'll be getting any kind of information, you need to give always check. So I'm just going to give a check that okay, if this tokens dot id token, if this is not present, so you are going to return an error, right? So we'll do res.status of 400.json, and here we are going to do message, and we'll do no id token is present, something like that. Google, no Google id token is present. Alright, so if this is present, so now we need to verify the token. Just now I have show you this id token here, right? This token, the bearer token. So how we are going to verify? So I'm going to create something like, let's create a ticket, and I'll do await, and I'll do client dot, and this will give you this verify token method, verify id token. And here what you need to pass, you need to pass the id token, and this id token is this tokens dot id token, this one. So this is the first thing you're going to pass, and you need to pass an audience here. So I'm going to pass audience, and this audience will be my client ID. So based on that, it's going to check. So to process.env dot, so we have the Google client ID. So I'll do Google client ID as string. So now this is going to do what? It's going to do two things. It's going to verify the ID token, and it's going to read the user info from it. So once this is done, now we are going to get the payload. So I'll do const payload, and this will be ticket dot get payload. Okay, so this is going to give you the payload, and now in this payload you'll be getting the email, and email verified all this information or not. So first I'm going to get the email. So I'll do email. Now so this email will be now become payload.email. See, and also you're going to check if this is different issue. So here I'm going to do email verified or not. So I'll do email verified. Okay, so this will become the payload.email verified. Okay, so now here you are going to again check that if the email verified is false, so you're going to return another error here. So we'll do something like maybe email is not verified, right? Google email account is not verified. If this is also verified, now we are going to do the same thing just now we have done, normalized, which will become email dot to lowercase dot trim, and then we are going to try to find the user, because it is possible that user is already authenticated using email and password, and they try to again log in using their Google account. And if that email is already present, so will not allow the user to log in again, right, or create a new user with the same email. So that means what we need to do, we need to find the user. So I'm going to do let user, and this will become await user dot find one, and you're going to pass the email, which will become the normalized email. And now if not equal to user, right, that means what we need to do, we need to create a new user. And if the user is already present, so what are you going to do? Simply we are going to check that okay, if the user is already present, and if the user dot is email verified, if this is false, so you're going to mark the email verified as false, true. Why? Because Google will automatically do the email verification. We don't have to send any email once again, right? So we'll do email dot is email verified will become true. So this will become true, and you'll do await user dot save. So you're going to save the user to DB. If the user is not present, means the user is registering for the first time, so in that case we need to create a new user. So for now I'm just going to create a random password. Okay, and then I'll do crypto dot create random, create random, I think it's called random bytes, and then I'm going to do 16.toString, and let's pass x, and then I'm also going to do const password hash, and this will become await has password, and then I'm going to pass the random password. And now what I'll do, simply I'll do user will become await, and then you'll do user, the model you need to take will do user.create. So you're creating a new user, and then you're going to pass all these information. So email will become the normalized email, then you're going to pass the password has, role will become user because user will be by default anyways, email verified will be what, email verified will become true, and also I'm going to do two-factor enabled, in this case will be false. Now this is the important part, because you don't have to send email verification, because Google will automatically, Google already verified the email, right? So you don't have to do anything here. So now once this is done, so now we are going to create the access token. So I'll do const access token. So this will become create access token, and here we are going to pass the user.id, and I'm do user.role as, so do user or admin, and also I'm going to pass the user.token version. So now also we need to create the refresh token. So I'll do const refresh token. So this will be create refresh token, and here we are going to pass the user.id and user.token version. So now once again the same thing, right? So I'm going to search here, I'll do use prod, and then you're going to do the same thing here. So I'll copy this, and after this I'll just paste it. So first we're going to check if it is prod environment. So we're going to save the refresh token HttpOnly true, same site lax, and this will be max age, and at the end you are going to simply return res.json, and you're going to pass message that Google login successful, and what else, we are going to pass the access token, and let's pass the user information. So I'll do id, which will become user.id. This user is the user that we are creating it, this user, the stored user, and then we're going to pass the email, which will become user.email. Pass the role, which will become user.role, and also we're going to pass email verified. So this will be user.email verified. That's it. So now let's go here. First I'm going to close this, and I'll save this. So this is done. So now let's go and copy this. So I'm going to paste it here. So I'll do /auth/Google. Also let's go to the DB once. Let's go to the let's see that how many users we have currently. I think 2 users we have. So we'll go to the users. So I already have with this account, and this is another account that I've created. So now I'm going to select a different account. Okay, so I'm going to select this. So I'll do continue, and this you can see. So Google login is successful. This is the access token ID. This is email, role, and email verified will be true. And if you go here, just refresh this, you'll be seeing one more user which we have already added to our DB. Now you can see 3 users, and at the end you are going to see the user, and email verified will be automatically true. So this is the cleanest way that you can implement you can add Google authentication, right? So I hope this is clear, not that much difficult. In case you are having a front end, what you need to do, similarly whenever we are actually redirecting here, right, in this one you will redirect the user back to your application, and this is how usually all the other websites Google login or auth login works, right? So with this part is completed. Now let's move on to the next one. Alright everyone, so now we are going to start a very interesting section. I think many of you are actually waiting for this, and that is two-factor authentication. Now for this one, first of all I wanted to mention that you need a Google Authenticator. I think this is one of the best app that you can use, and also I will highly recommend for this particular video also. And also you can use this Chrome extension also, so it's up to you. But actually I'm using the Google Authenticator app, that we are going to need later. So just install this one, and then what will happen, right? So you'll be getting options. So this plus icon you're seeing, once you click here, it will be saying scan as QR code. Once you scan it, automatically you're going to see the code. So I'm going to show you that how you're going to do that. So this is the first thing that we need. And second thing, we are going to use this OTP-lib. This is the package we are going to use, and also we are going to use QR code generator, because I'm going to show you that how you can install the QR code and how you can create the QR code so that you can scan using from your mobile using this particular Google Authenticator app. So this is the prerequisite. So first what I'm going to do, right? So let's install this one. I'm going to copy this, and so first will be we are going to install this. So we'll go here, I'm going to clear this, and we'll do npm install. No, sorry, I think we have to just do OTP-lib, and also the name of that is, I think, QR code. I think it's QR code. Okay, so these two things we are going to install. So one is OTP-lib, one is QR code. So let's install both. Also, I think we need to install the types, if I'm not wrong, for the QR code, but that's fine. That's what we are going to do later. But first thing, that what are the methods that we are going to create. Now see, normally a couple of changes we are going to do. First, we are going to create two method here. One will be to set up your two-factor authentication, and second one will be to verify. Okay, so this is the first two things we are going to create, but we need to also add one more thing. Where can you guess? In your login handler. So in your login handler, actually we are going to add a small check. So first I'm going to show you that how you are going to do that. Okay, so first let's go to the login handler. So if I go to the login handler, so login handler, right, and you see we are actually seeing if email is verified. If email is not verified, we are simply telling that please verify your email. After this, now I'm going to give a two-factor guard. So now I'm simply going to check that, okay, if your two-factor is not enabled, okay, so in that case we are going to give an error message that you need to first enable your two-factor authentication, something like that. Okay, or first second thing will be if your two-factor is already enabled and if your code is missing, so we are going to write, okay, before you log in you have to actually enter your two-factor code. I hope you're getting right. So first I'm going to give a small check. So I'll do if user dot two-factor enabled, if this is true. Okay, and in that case, if two-factor code is missing, but now the point is how we are going to get the two-factor. The two-factor we are going to get from our request body. Why? Because whenever you'll be doing a UI, right, or you're going to have a UI, from where you are going to get all of this, you'll be getting from your UI side, right? So from UI side, user is going to send. So what I'm going to do first, I'll go to the auth schema, and here I'm going to do a two-factor code. So this is the first thing, and I'll do z.string dot, for now I'm going to keep optional because user can enable or they cannot, so it's up to them. Okay, so this is the first thing that we are going to do. So now what will be the next thing that we need to check here? So let's go back where we are doing. Okay, so first thing is we need to get the two-factor code. Okay, and then I'm going to simply check if the two-factor is already enabled for this particular user, and if two-factor code is missing, very important, or if not, type of two-factor code is not equal to string. So in that case, what are you going to do, right? We're going to return a response dot status of 400.json, and I'm simply going to do message, and I'll do two-factor code is required. Okay, I hope this is clear. So this is the first thing that we need to do, and also we are going to give a small check that if, why you are getting this error, man? Oh, we need to give this. And here I'm simply going to check if not equal to user dot two-factor secret. So in that case, I'm simply going to return one more, that okay, raise dot status. I don't know why my I think this is very slow. So okay, raise dot status of 400, and I'll give a JSON, and I'll do a message like two-factor misconfigured, something like that. Right, so I'll do two-factor misconfigured for this account. All right, so now these two checks we need to give. Now remember, we need to do one more thing. So here, if user already enabled the two-factor authentication during login, we also need to verify the code. This is the important. So we need to verify the code using OTP lib. Okay, so this is one thing we need to do here. Okay, so now before we'll do that, first let's create our two methods that we are going to have. So one will be to set up your two-factor account, and second one will be to verify that two-factor account. So these two things we are going to first create, and then we are going to verify. So what will happen that you will see that once user will log in for the first time and they will set up their two-factor authentication, from next time if they try to log in and if they give wrong code, the login will fail, and that is the expected, right? So let's see how we are going to do that in the next part. Alright everyone, so now let's start with our first method, which will be the setup for our two-factor authentication. So here what I'll do, right, in the auth controller only, so let's create one more function. So I'll do async function, and let's give this one name as 2FA, two-factor, and maybe let's do setup, and let's do handler. So here we are going to again get the request response. Okay, so first because for this particular handler the user has to be authenticated, means it has to be auth user, right? So if you're not authenticated, you can't set up your authenticator, right? Whenever you'll go to any application, whenever there is authentication setup, you'll see that you have to log in, you have to go to the account section, and then you can enable your two-factor authentication. I hope you're getting right. So that means this actually this route will go through a middleware, the auth middleware. So first I'm going to take a auth request, I'll do request as any, and then I'm just going to take the auth user, and I'll simply do auth request dot user, because this is where we're storing the user. And I'm simply going to do, if this auth user is not present, that means this user is a unauthenticated user, so I'm going to send a 401, right? So I'll do a JSON, and then anyway this is also we are checking the same in our middleware also, but this is just a small extra check. So I'll do message, and I'll do unauth user, not authenticated. Alright, so after this what we're going to do, right, simply we're going to take a try catch, and let's log this, and we're going to paste it here. Now inside try, what we're going to do first, so first you need to get the user from the DB, so that will be the first step. So I'm going to do const user, and this will be await, and I'll do user dot, and I'll do find, let's do maybe find by ID, and this auth user that we are having, this will give you the ID, because this is where we are setting the ID. And then first again I'll check that if the user is not found, so I'm going to return a 404 error. Okay, so I'll just return here 404, and I'll do user not found. Okay, if user is there, in that case what do we need to do? We need to now generate a secret for our two-factor authentication. But how we are going to do that? Now for this one we actually need the help of that package that we are using, right? So what is that package? That is called the OTP lib. Now that OTP lib is going to give you a method called Authenticator, and that Authenticator actually will give another helper method that is called generate secret, right? So which actually create a random base, I think if I'm not wrong, it's create a base 32 string, but I have to check that. If you guys are exploring the documentation, you will let me know in the comment what actually is that, but I think it is a base 32 string it's going to create. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to just take this one from OTP lib, and the method is called the Authenticator. Okay, so this is actually what we need, and now we'll go here, right? Okay, so first thing we need to actually create that. So first I'm going to create a secret, and this will give you this Authenticator that we are having, and this will give you this generate secret. Okay, all right, so once we are going to do that, so now remember, whenever if you have used the Google Authenticator previously, here, right, you'll see you're getting this Google, right, Google. So this is basically, it will tell that this code is for which app. Maybe you can have 100 apps, right? One for Google, one for GitHub, one for maybe Stripe, one for this particular authentication. So that means we need to give a name so that we'll understand that for what actually this is creating that. So what I'll do simply is I'm going to give a issuer, and I'm going to just give this a name as Node.auth app, Node Advanced Auth app, something like that. Okay, and this name will appear there. So this will be my issuer. So now once this is done, now we need to do what? We need to actually create a OTP auth URL, and based on that URL we are going to do what? We are going to create the QR code, and that QR code actually in that format this Google Authenticator actually need, so that it will be able to read that, and it's going to create a entry inside this Google Authenticator app. So what we're going to do, simply we're going to create OTP, maybe let's give auth URL, and here what we're going to do, we are going to use this authenticator that we are having, right, and this is going to do a key URI, something like that, key URI, and this need, so I'm going to do what? So we're going to pass the account name. So what we can pass, account name, we're going to pass the user.email. okay, so this user that we are finding from my DB, so this will be the first thing, account name. Then we need to pass the issuer, okay, and then we are going to pass the secret. So issuer will be this issuer, okay, and then we are going to pass the secret will be this secret. That's it. So this is going to create that, and now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to do user.2factor secret, and this will be this OTP, secret will be this secret that we have created, this secret, this is important. And also I'm going to do user.2factor enabled. Now this will become what? It will become true. So this will become true. Oh, what is happening, man? So this will become true. So now this is done, and then you're going to save the user. So do user.save, and at the end I'm going to return res.json, and you're going to return a message, okay, that two-factor setup is done, something like that. And also maybe I'm going to return, we need to return, not maybe, OTP auth URL, and also I'm going to return the secret just to test it. So now we're going to save this, and then what we're going to do, right, we need to go to our route, and then I'm going to copy this, I'll paste it here. So this will be a post request, okay, and then I'm going to do /2-factor authentication / maybe let's do setup, and then here we are going to pass the require auth, because this will go through the middleware, and then we are going to pass the 2-factor authentication setup handler. Okay, this concept we've already discussed, that we are using a middleware. This is extra check. And now if I just go here, right, let's see if there are any error or anything. I don't see any error. Now what I'll do, right, first I'll go to the login, I'll go here. First let's do one thing, this I already tested previously, so I'm going to just send this request, invalid password, okay, this will be 123. So for this account, you can see that 2-factor enabled is false, and I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll go here, I'll paste it, and I'll do post, and this will become auth /2fa setup. I'm going to send this, so not auth user, which is correct. So I'll go to the login again, I'll copy this, I'll go to headers, I'll add a authorization, I'll do bearer, paste it, and let's send this one, and you can see that we are getting now 2-factor authentication is done, OTP auth this, and this is the secret. Fine. Now from this OTP auth URL we need to actually create a QR code, but that I'm going to show you later. I'm just wanted to show that this is working fine, but this is not the only thing. We need to also do what? We need to verify if this is actually correct or not. So now what we're going to do, simply, right, we'll go here and we need to create one more route. First I'm going to create the function, so let's do here export async function, and I'm going to do 2fa verify, handler. So I'm just going to do request and response. Alright, the first I'm going to get this, so let's copy some of the things, the same thing again and again instead of rewriting, and I'll just paste it here. And then I'm going to take a try catch, and inside this I'm going to just copy this and I'll paste it here. Now inside try, so first what we need to do, right, first we are going to get the code, and also before this try, right, let's take the code also. So I'm going to get the two-factor code, so I'll do request.body, and let's do it as, so I'll do code will be string, and I'm going to get the code here. Okay, and if the code is not present, so we are going to do two-factor code is needed. So I'll just go here, and then I'll do if code is not there, so I'm going to do a 400, and I'll do two-factor code is needed. Two-factor code is required. So this is done. So now again, once again, we're going to find the user. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So get the user from the auth user, and if the user is not found, we're going to return this user not found. If now I'm going to simply check if this user dot two-factor secret, if this is not present, means what? That means this setup is only not done, because in this setup we are actually setting this two-factor secret, right? So that means if your setup is only not done, how you are going to verify? So that we need to give here, that if the setup is not there, we are going to give a check that okay, you need to first do the setup, then only you come here, or else you don't have any task or things to do here. So I'll do if the two-factor secret is not present, so I'll do you don't have 2FA setup yet, something like that. If this is there, now what I'm going to do, we are going to do a validation. So I'll do const is valid, and I'm going to do authenticator, and this will give you check method. Okay, but the point is how you are going to check it. Now this check, you have to do this code that you are sending, right, and this user has this two-factor secret. So these two is going to check that if this is actually correct or not. If this is not correct, then you are going to again do a invalid two-factor code. So we'll do and I'll do invalid two-factor code, invalid two-factor code. Okay, also we are doing one thing wrong, man. That's why I'm thinking that something I'm doing wrong. See, we have set the secret and we have already directly done two-factor enabled is true. This is absolutely wrong, so this will be false. Sorry, my bad. Because when you're going to set up, you're not going to make this one as false. This is wrong. So for setup time, we need to mark the two-factor enabled as false. Once the code verification is done, then only we are going to make this one as true. Okay, so here we are going to make this one as true. I hope you're getting right. So now you're going to simply do user dot two-factor enabled will be true. That's why I'm thinking that above I'm doing something wrong. So here now I'm going to set the user. Okay, so I'm going to set the user, and now you can do what? So I'm going to do return, and then we're going to do res.json, and I'm going to do message, and what we're going to do, maybe two-factor enabled successfully. So I'll do 2FA enabled successfully, and maybe I'll do just two-factor enabled as true, something like that. Alright, so I think this is done. So now what we'll do, right, first let's go here, and then I'm going to do one more, and this also will be a post, and this will be verify, and this will become two-factor enabled, sorry, two-factor verify handler. So now with this we have completed all of these, but we need to have the code. But how we are going to get the code? Now this is where we are going to use that QR code to make your life simple, so that you can understand what you are doing. What we'll do, right, first on the top root, create a scripts folder. Okay, And here what I'll do, give a name something like, I already taken the name, let me just copy. So I'm going to use this TOTP.keyword.ts. And here what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to simply create the keyword code here. So I'll do import, so I'll do keyword, maybe keyword code from keyword code. See, I already told you, right, we need to install the types also. Let's quickly do that. And I'm going to just do clear and then install this. Now first I'm going to get the OTP auth URL. So I'm going to do process.args of 2, and then I'm simply going to do if this is not present. So I'm just going to return a new error, throw a new error, and I'm going to do pass OTP auth URL as argument. Okay, then we are going to then after this I'm going to take a function. I'll do function main, and let's do await, and I'll do keyword code dot to file, and I'm going to create a file to totp.png, and I'm going to do this, pass this OTP auth URL. Okay, and just log this, that saved keyword code. That's it. And then here you're going to get the main, just do a catch here, error. So you're going to log the error, and you're going to do a exit. So I'll do process.exit of 1. Alright, so I think this is now done. So now let's go here, and I'm going to send one more time, so it's will create 1. And now what I'll do, right, I'm going to go to the top. Let's clear this first, and now let's go here and copy this exact part. Okay, copy this part here. Now here remember we need to do npx.ts node. Now this part is important, the file name, because if you have given different name you have to use the same. So I'm using the same, so I'll just do paste, copy the exact thing, and now I'll just paste it here. Now let's wait. So it should create a keyword code. So this actually saved the keyword code. Now I'll go to the end and see it's created a PNG, and you'll be getting a keyword code here. Now I'm going to take my phone, okay, and then what I'll do, right, I'm going to open my Google Authenticator. Okay, you do the same, open Google Authenticator, and then now I'm going to do plus, and then I'll do scan QR code. So I'm doing now. Alright, so I'll do scan QR code. This is done, and you can see you will be getting the Google Authenticator Node Advanced Auth app. Why this is coming? Because if you go here, I've given this name, where is that, Node Advanced Auth app. So this is completed. Now I'll go here. Now see what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this. Now let's do this. So I'm going to just make this one as verify. Okay, now I'm going to send this. So okay, this will be post, send this, and you'll see that there will be the two-factor code is needed. So we'll go to the body, and now see what I'm going to do. I'm going to use code, and here I'm going to use the code that I have from my Authenticator app. Now first I'll do 216557, which is wrong. So I'm going to send again, and you can see invalid two-factor code, it is coming. I'm going to give a correct code, which is 0, and then you send this one. Fantastic. Now you see two-factor enabled successfully, and two-factor enabled is now true. Okay, so that means this is working fine. Now we'll do what? Go to login, okay, and try to send login again, and you can see you're getting two-factor code is required. Means you have to give a two-factor code here now. So this will be two-factor code. So we'll do two-factor code, and I'm going to give the correct code from here. So 482. Now let's give a wrong one, 438. So this is wrong one. I'm going to send, and you can see that we are still able to log in. Oh, okay, I got it. So that's why I told, right, we have to verify that. I think this part we given the placeholder. You remember that I already told you that we need to just give a small check there. So we'll go to the top. So let's go to the login. I'll go to the login. Here we have to verify this, so I'm going to do const and I'll do is valid code, and here I have to give, right, so I'll do authenticator authenticator dot check, and inside this you're going to pass the two-factor code. So this two-factor code you are getting here, and this you're going to check with what, so you're going to check with user dot two-factor secret. These two, if both are matching, that means this is correct. If this is wrong, so I'll do is valid code. So you're going to return a res.status of 400.json, and you're going to do message, and this will be invalid two-factor code. Okay, and I think this is that. Now it will work. So if you go here, right, and try to send this, no, sorry, it's still running, so let's send again, and you can see that you're getting invalid two-factor code during login. So that means you have to give correct code. So I'll give again wrong code, 499667, it's the wrong one. Send this, it will give you two-factor code is wrong. Give the correct one, send this one. Fantastic. So now you're getting what, login is done, two-factor enabled true, two-factor is verified, is email verified is also true. So that means with this we have actually completed all type of authentication that you can do with two-factor, also with very simple to the point explanation. I hope you learned a lot of things. Now we are going to move to very important section. I think all of you actually asked me to do the deployment multiple times, so we are going to do the VPS deployment from scratch. Each and every step I'm going to explain so that you are not going to forget anything. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, so now we are going to start with our VPS hosting. Now, as in the intro part, I already mentioned that I'm going to use Hostinger, and also you guys, if you want, you can use the same. So what I'll do, right, I'll be adding a coupon code in the description. You can see that this will be the coupon code that you will see. You can just click on this and you'll be seeing some discount also. So let me just explain. So I'm going to copy this and I'll just paste it here. So you can see that you are almost going to get more than 70% discount, and also there will be some more videos that will be coming in the next couple of videos where I'm going to show you that how you are going to deploy AI agents also. So here once you'll do claim deal, and then what I'll suggest, now there are two options I'll give you. Now KVM2 is the most popular. You can see that. Now if you're creating any SaaS basically for your businesses, then I will highly suggest you should use this one, KVM2. If you're a student, in that case you can try for KVM1. It's up to you. Okay, so now for this one I'm going to click on this particular plan, which is KVM2. So just click on choose plan, and now what you can do, right, you will be getting some additional discount also in case you are interested. So let me just show you. So there will be two coupons. One is SM20, so this is valid till 31st December. This will offer extra 20% discount, and this SM10, this will be throughout the year 2027 till, and this will give you the 10% discount on all products, 12 months, 24 and 48 months. So I can just copy this SM20, and then here you can see that it's almost 11,976 for 24 months. So just if you click on this coupon code and then apply, you'll be getting some additional 20% discount also, right? So this is one extra information that I wanted to give. Now it's up to you. You can choose whatever plan suits you, and based on that you can buy if you are interested. So with this, now we will start our deployment. I'm going to show you that each and every steps that how you're going to deploy any kind of backend, or it can be a full stack application in your VPS. All the steps I'll be adding in the notes also, so you can download below from my website. So let's get started and good luck. Alright, so now the first step will be that how you are going to buy it, and then you'll be getting your VPS root and password, right? So first thing, you can see that this is my dashboard, and then I'm going to choose the VPS. Now remember, you can get other services also. For example, let's say if you want to buy domain, email marketing, a lot of other things, you can just explore here. But for now we are focusing on VPS. I'm going to click on this, and now remember this is the one that we are going to use, that is called KVM VPS. So I'm going to do get now, and then here what I'll do, simply I'm going to just keep it like this, right? So I'll do next, and here we are going to definitely going to use Ubuntu. So I'm going to select on this. This is the version, and then do select. And now here either you can do SSH key, or I'm going to set a root password. Now remember, for this one I'm going to use root password, so give a strong password. So I'm going to just give a password here. Okay, so I've given the password and I'll do next. And here you can see that there are some additional features. You can add or remove any of these features. So I'm going to just keep it because this is free, and I'll do next. And now here the options that you want to select. Now remember, I already told you, I've given you two options. If you're a student and you want this one for your projects and everything, you can select KVM1, but I will suggest you go for this 499 in case you want to do for any business, or let's say you want to create a website, you want to host it, because you know my website is ACEDEVHUB, right? So when I started for the first time, I started with this KVM2 only. It means I think this will give you the two CPU core, and this is the important part here, along with the RAM. So this is the main reason I'm telling. Okay, now again I'll repeat, in case you just wanted to explore and for your project purposes, then you can go for one CPU core and 4 GB RAM also. So I'm going to now select this. Okay, now here what I'll do, right, I'm going to just select 1 month. Now again, I already mentioned it, in case you want to go for 24 or 12 months, use the coupon code that I shared, so you'll get some extra discount. Okay, so once you'll do that, you're going to choose payment method, and once you'll buy it, you'll be getting the SSH VPS root and the password, and that is the two things that we need. Once you will get that, then we'll start deploying that, how we are going to deploy your backend. So let's get started. Alright, so just a quick video, right? So before we'll start, you'll see that I just bought it. So I bought the KVM1 for the demo purpose, and you'll see that the first step you're going to see, that is that it will actually take some time to set up your VPS, right? So for now, you can actually feel free to leave this page also, but once this is done, then only we are going to get the VPS root and the password, and then we are going to start deploying. So I just wanted to give you some update regarding this. So let's start with the deployment. So you can see that I already have the root access now, and I'm going to show you each and every step that how we are going to do with a custom domain also. Before that, we need to add one single line in our app.ts, because we are going to use Nginx, so we actually trust the proxy, right? So for that one, what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to just set this trust proxy in the app.ts file here after this. Okay, so save this, and also you can see that we already have the git ignore, right? First thing what we're going to do now, so let's start with all the steps. So I'm going to clear this, and I'll do now git init. So this is the first step, and I'm going to now add all these changes, and I'll do push all changes, and now I'll go here, new repository. So I'm going to do Node.js Auth, something like that, and then I'm going to just create the repository. So once this is done, so now let's copy the origin, and then we'll go here, and then we are going to just set it. So this is done. Now commit, and then publish the branch. Alright, so now let's refresh this. So you can see that I have all the code. So now the first step will be, I already written each and every step that you need to do. Now quite a few steps we need to do. First, we are going to log in into our VPS. So we have this SSH root @ and here your IP will come. So first I'm going to copy these. So now let's open a command line, and then what I'll do, right, so I'm going to, just paste it here. So I'll do yes. We need to do yes. So now I'm going to give my password. Alright, so now I'm inside VPS. So now let's see what are the steps that we need to do. First, we are going to update all the server packages. So I'm going to copy this command. Now remember, you don't have to worry, I'm going to add all this in this source code only. So in the I'll add one file, something like vps instructions.md, and then you can just follow the same file. Alright, so just start with this. So first we're going to do update, then we're going to do upgrade, both. Copy this, and then we're going to do upgrade. So once this is done, then we are going to install git, nginx, and curl. So copy all of this. Let's wait. Now one more thing I wanted to mention, and that is, in case you are having a having your own domain, then use your own domain, because let's say you're working on any SaaS and you want to deploy, so in that case you can use your own domain. For students who don't have their own domain, so in that case we're going to use this duck DNS. Okay, let's wait for some more time. Okay, this is done. Now let's install git all this. So now I'm going to go here. We are going to install the Node.js. So I'm going to copy this curl. Okay, this is done. Then we are going to install the Node.js. So I'll do this. Okay, this is done. So install this. Once this is done, then we are going to check the version of the Node.js and the npm. I'm not going to pause any of this even if something is taking time, so that you can see what actually is happening, right? So let's wait. Alright, so I think this is done. So now I'll do node version v and I'll do npm version v. So both is installed. So now we are going to enable some basic firewall. So I'm going to copy this and then we'll paste it here. Let's go here. Let's allow open SSH. Next, we'll allow Nginx full. Next, we have the we need to enable, and we are going to check the status. And let's copy this. Alright, so you can see that all are in allow action. So this is done. Now we are going to create a domain. So now first we'll go here and then I'm going to sign in. So I'm going to select this account, continue. So first see, first time you can this can be little tricky. Okay, first what you need to do, right, you need to complete this reCAPTCHA. So complete here, click here, and then you can create a domain. So I'll do right Node.js Auth, something like that, Node.js Auth. So let's copy this, we need this. So I'm going to add the domain. Now one thing you need to very careful is that the current IP and the IP that you are having here, both are different. So we need to map this IP, the VPS IP, with this, but this we are going to do later. First I'm going to copy this domain name. We'll go here and this will be our domain name, okay, from now onwards. So we'll do Node.js auth.duckdns.org. You can see that we are going to point this. So here we are going to do curl http duckdns.org update domain name. Domain name will be what? This domain name just now we have created. Token, you are going to get the token from here. So this is the token, and just replace this with this token. And the VPS IP will be this one, right? So we have the VPS IP here. So just copy this part and we'll just paste it here. That's it. So now let's copy this whole part and you're going to just paste it here. Let's wait. Okay, I think this would work. Now let's refresh this page here. So you can see that this current IP will be changed. This is fine, but this is now mapped to your VPS. That means this step is now completed. Now we are going to configure the Nginx, right? So first step will be, now remember this Nginx/sites available, this name that whatever I have given, right? I just decided for this particular project I'm going to give this one as Node.js YouTube Authentication. If you want, you can give any name you want, it's up to you. So first I'm going to copy this and we'll go here and then enter. Okay, now here what we are going to do, right, first we need to paste this. Now here we are going to listen to this port 80. This is the proxy, right, because we're using 5000 in our code. Domain name you need to change to this domain name, right? So we'll do Node.js Auth. So we'll go here and then just paste it here, and then we are going to copy this exact same thing and then we are going to paste it here. Then do Control O, Control X, right? So I think this is done. So now, okay, so I think this is completed. So now we are going to enable the site. Now again, you have to give the same name that you have given while creating the nginx site config. So the same name, this Node.js YouTube authentication. So I'm just going to copy this and then we are going to paste it here. So this is done. Now go back and then we are going to test it. So I'll do nginx-t, paste it, enter. So you can see that this is okay and the test is also successful. Then we are going to reload the nginx. So copy this and just reload. So this is done. Once this is done, we are going to install SSL because we need to use HTTPS. In prod, we need a domain also, right? Or else sometime your Google authentication is not going to work. So first we are going to install the certbot. So I'm going to copy this and then just install here. Once this is done, we need to generate the certificate. Now again, you need to change the domain name, right? So we'll go to the top and I'm going to copy this, go down and till this part. Okay, so here we need to replace this with the domain name that we have created. So I'm going to copy this and we'll enter. So we need to give email address. I'm going to give my email address here. Okay, enter. Yes. Sorry everyone, I just got a call, so that's why I need to pause. So now here also we are going to do yes, and let's wait for some time. So it's going to request a certificate, and once this is done, right, I think till this part we have done, then we are going to start deploying the app. So first let's wait again. So let me just pause this one. I think it will take some time. Okay, I think it's almost done. Okay, so I think this is completed now. Awesome. Now what we are going to do, right? So first we are going to clone the application. Now remember, while cloning the application, there are certain rules we are going to follow. First I'm going to run this. So let's copy this and create this. Then we'll go inside that. And now what I'll do right now, see what you need to do. So doing git clone. Now this Sangam Mukherjee that you are seeing, this is the username, and this token we are going to create a classic token. Okay, then again we have @github.com, again your username, and this is where you are going to give the repository name .git, and this is the folder name that I'm giving, Node.js_auth_YouTube. Now first thing what you need to do, so this is our repo name, right? So we have Node.js auth. So I'm going to copy this. All right, so we'll go here. First I'm going to change the repo name to this. So this will be Node.js auth.git. Now to get the token, what you need to do, I'm going to show you. I already have the token, so I'm going to use the same, but I'm not going to show you the token. That is very sensitive information. So first I'll go to the developer settings, and then what you need to do, go to personal access token and create the token classic. Okay, not this one. Click on the tokens classic, and this is where you're going to get the token. Okay, I have some other tokens already created, so I'm going to just do what. So let me explain. So I'm going to copy the token. I'm going to replace the token here, and then I'm going to run this command inside my VPS. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now let me just pause this, and once that I'll do, then we are going to start from this particular step. Alright, so now cloning is completed, so I'll go inside that folder. So let's go inside of this, and now what I'm going to do, first we're going to install. So I'll do npm install. So I'll do npm install, and then we are going to do npm run build, because we're going to run our server.js file. So let's wait. Okay, this is done. Now let's run the build command. Once we'll do that, we're going to create the env file. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Alright, so this is completed. Now I'm going to paste here. Now see, we need to do a couple of changes. So I'm going to go to my env file first. So go to the env file. Now here what I'm going to do, in below I have all the sensitive information. Okay, so I'm not going to show here. You need to change two things. First, you need to change the Google redirect URI. Now localhost 5000 will change to this domain that we have created. So let me just quickly copy the domain. So we have the Node.js auth .duckdns.org. So I'm going to copy this, and this will now become a HTTPS, and you're going to just paste it here. Okay, so this is the first change. Second change you need to do, so I'm going to show you that. First we'll go to controllers, auth controllers, and go to the top, at the top. You'll see that we're using this process.env.app_url, this one, or else it will pick from here. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, and then we are going to use this here. So I'm going to do app URL, and then I'm going to use this as our app URL. Okay, That's it. So this will be our app URL. So that it will pick from this process.env.app URL. So I'm going to copy all the things. Now remember, I have all the sensitive information here. So copy all of these, just paste it here. Okay, so I think I have all this, right? Or okay, all the things. Now I'll do Control O and Control X. Okay, I think this is done, right? Okay, so I think this is completed. Now once we'll do that, now we'll go at the end. Now I'm going to install PM2. So I'm going to copy this and then install here. Once we'll do that, we're going to start our server.js file. I'm going to give a name here and let's see what is happening. So now this is done. Copy this and then start. Fantastic. So this is now online. Now I'm going to do save this. All right, and then you're going to do startup. All right, so I think all the steps are done. So now what I'll do, right, I'm just going to copy this. So let's copy this path. No, sorry, let's go here and I'm going to copy this here. Go and then just paste here and do /health. Enter. Fantastic. So you're getting status. Okay, now I need to change one thing. So let me just quickly open my Google console. So I'll show you that what actually we need to change. All right, so now if you remember, we created this Node.js Auth project, right? Go to API and services, and now what you're going to do, right, you'll go to the credentials part. Go to the credentials part and then change the URL, right? Go to web client and then change this one to that URL. So I'm going to just paste it here and then this will be /auth/google/callback. Save this. All right, so now what I'm going to do, right, I'll go here and then now let's do /auth/google. Enter. Fantastic. So it's going here. Now let me just select any of these, continue, and you can see that it's actually working fine, right? So you're getting this /auth/google/callback. This is the code and everything. This is working fine. Now I'm just going to copy this and go here and then just open a new terminal and I'm going to just do post /auth/ let's do register and then send. So getting invalid data, which is fine. So now what I'll do, right, I'll go to let's go to the register and here I'll just register with a username and password. Let's see. So we'll go to body, paste it here and send. So email is already in use. So I'll do John1 and let's try to send and we'll see if it is working or not. Okay, so now that means this is working absolutely fine. Now even if you check with the existing, right, so I'll do login. Let's see what will happen. Okay, so I'm just going to do I'll do login with my that user ID. So I'll do Sangam20 and then I'll do Sangam123. Try to send, see what will happen. See, two-factor code is required. Okay, now let me quickly take the two-factor code from my mobile. So I'll take the two-factor code. Okay, let me just find this. So I'm going to just use, so I'll do 074074678. Send. Fantastic. Now you can see this is working fine and now this is absolutely running inside your VPS with a custom domain. Okay, so with this we have completed our project. Let me know what are the things that you have learned. Again, I'm repeating, in case you're interested, click on my link. This will also help me little bit, and also if you want to buy, you can buy, or if someone wants to buy, you can just refer them the link. You'll be getting the discount also. So with this, that's all for this particular video. I will see you in my next video. Till then, good luck and peace.